fabulous fabric from the land of the Five Rivers.
Years ago, when we came to Los Angeles, I really believed that the greatness of the Raiders would be in its future.
We back. Yo, you know what time it is.
Oh, you didn't know?
50-50.
Welcome to the 50-50 Show with PharoahNFL and the Severe Raider, the realest show for Raider Nation.
The perpetuation of the greatness of the Raiders to take a professional football team and give it a distinct characteristic that's different from all others.
Make sure to clock in, like, comment, subscribe, and hit that notification bell.
Raiders!
Hey, make sure to clock in, hit that like button, hit that subscribe, and hit that notification bell, man. We got a great show lined up, man. Appreciate everybody coming through. Y'all already know, man, the greatest late night show out there, man. It's the 50-50 Show with myself, PharoahNFL, and then obviously my guy, the Severe Raider. We're going live on both of our channels, so definitely subscribe if it's your first time joining us. You know, hit that like button, as we say it in this channel. Clock in, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell. We got some things to talk about, obviously. Raiders finally got their win. We'll get into that, and then we'll also get into some of the comments that were made by Jamal Adams. It's kind of interesting. We kind of implied that there might have been something going on with the locker room, especially with, you know, the Jermaine Pratt getting released. But then we hear this. At the timing of it, I mean, Jamal Adams, what is he? He should have kept that to himself. But we'll get into that. Those comments. We'll get into the win. What does it mean moving forward? The outlook of the team, and obviously they're headed to Arrowhead next week or next weekend to, you know, man. Patrick Mahomes, Andy Reid, it's going to be a big test. So we'll definitely get into that. And then obviously the normal flags on the play and notable quotables. We'll get into all that, man. But we appreciate the night crew pulling up. We see y'all, man. My guy Raider Vic, man. You already know what time it is, man. Hey, shit, clock in. You know what I mean? He already know what time it is, man. My guy, man. Appreciate you coming through. Salute 831 in the building, man. Appreciate you, my guy. Appreciate you pulling up. The greatness of the Raiders is definitely in its past.
I hope not, man. I hope not. I hope not. I have not seen the Super Bowl, man. So I got to get one, man. I got to get one.
Hey, man, when the Raiders are this ass, like it's the best way to deal with it is just humor, just laugh, have a good time. You know, at the end of the day, it's not that big a deal or whatever it is as far as like we want them to win, but just laugh, man, just enjoy yourself. Myra in the building, appreciate you pulling up. Appreciate you pulling up.
New name? Switching up the name, Myra? What's going on? Oh, that was
my 510. Okay, I'm gonna respect the new name. My 510. Okay, that's a new one. My guy Super Omnicron in the building says Music City, man, quite appropriate. Bet Severe Fair came up with that one. No, that was my guy Severe, man. When it comes to the thumbnails and the names and stuff, the catchy names, man, I gotta give all credit to Severe, man. But we appreciate everybody pulling up. Nice. Severe, this is all you, man.
El Guerrero Apparel. I don't know. I could be saying some bad words, man. So I don't know, man.
I was gonna give you a shot to figure it out, man.
Gracias.
Gracias, man. Appreciate you pulling up. Yo, H in the building. Appreciate you pulling up. Man, we got an international crowd today. Okay. I don't know with that. Okay, we just gonna leave that alone. We gonna leave that alone. Yeah, nah, I'm crying. You already know humor is a great healing, man. Before we get into it, so I was really thinking about this because I was just dying laughing because I do this. I don't know, personally, I do this. I love comedy. I love stand up, and sometimes, I go to the classics. I'll watch the classics, and one of the classics for me is that Patrice O'Neal Elephant in the Room, man. I think I was thinking about that, man. There's so many quotables from that stand up. He's in my top three. He's in my top three personally. This is my personal favorite. Obviously Chappelle, but I don't know, man. If it's just he doesn't have like the, he doesn't have the content, like he doesn't have like the career and just so much that Chappelle. But the funniness it's like it's close. It's like they're damn near even. That's me personally. Yeah. I mean, who's one of your favorite comedians, Severe?
Yeah, definitely Chappelle. I mean, older Chris Rock is definitely, like Chris Rock, bigger and blacker Chris Rock he was hilarious.
Chris Rock, cool. He had some. I don't think he had some classic jokes.
Yeah,
he had some classic.
The older Chris Rock stuff, like the newer Chris Rock
jokes.
Stuff,
he has some classic jokes, but I don't think he's as funny though as like
Patrice. I would probably say the early Chris Rock stuff. I love early Chris Rock stuff. Obviously, Bernie Mac is up there.
Bernie Mac is a good one, man.
Hilarious.
Bernie Mac, like he literally made the Kings of Comedy. Like that Kings of Comedy, like he made that whole movie. It was him, his part coming in, So, Bernie Mac's a great stand-up for sure. I'm trying to think, like classics.
Classic.
When you start thinking about it,
Chris Tucker, when he used to be on on Def Comedy Jam, Chris Tucker is hilarious.
Chris Tucker cool. Chris Tucker's more movies. He's more movies.
Yeah,
more movies.
He stopped doing comedy because of the movies. He stopped doing comedy. He used to be hilarious. He used to be hilarious. That's how he got the movies. It was comedy.
Well, yeah. I mean, I give it to him. I just remember Def Comedy Jam. I remember his thing when he was there. But he was cool. R.I.P. to D'Angelo. I don't know if you heard the news. Like he passed away. One of the the legends, man. Like his first 2 albums was classic. Voodoo, Brown Sugar.
Classic.
Man, it's crazy, man. Died at a young age, 51 too, man. So that's
crazy.
Whew. What you about to say?
Say his he has a son with Angie Stone, so and both of them died this past year. I think she died in like March, and he just died. And his son he's grown. I think he's like 20, 27, 28, something like that. But like he lost both his parents in the same year, man. That's got to be rough.
Yeah, that's rough. That's rough, especially because I don't know how old Angie Stone was, but I know D'Angelo's. She was older, right? So like, but D'Angelo's like 51. Like that's a young age. You know what I mean? Like, and this is modern day age. As far as with medicine and stuff like that. So health is wealth, man. At the end of the day, man. Super Omicron says Chappelle was hilarious. Yeah, Chappelle, the show, the stand up.
Yeah, man.
Me personally, I love the stand ups, and I said that for the longest time, but then I don't know how recently with this. Maybe, I don't know. It was like a year or two. I just remember they had the stand up available like on one of these platforms, or not the platforms, but the. Hold on 1 second. No, his show in one of these like I don't know if it was Netflix or whatever. So I just went to a random episode. Oh, I was in tears. Oh man,
Chappelle Show. That's the best sketch comedy show ever, man.
It's still funny to this day. Like man, I'm telling anybody who loves to laugh, just go to the Chappelle Show just randomly and just pick out an episode and you'll be dying laughing. Chappelle, and not even just Chappelle, the people that he used to have on the show.
Yeah, bro. Hilarious.
Paul Mooney was on there. Charlie Murphy was on there. Man, he had so many others that was on there.
It was Donnell Rollins.
Donnell Rollins. I gotta see him live because my boy was saying that he was hilarious in person. I never thought Donnell Rollins was like super like hella funny, but he said like this is stand up, like in person, it was funny.
It's super funny.
So I gotta definitely check it out. Check that out, man. Appreciate everybody pulling up. Make sure to click and hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell. Omnicron Bernie Mac was a true king, but the other guy cashed in was Steve Harvey. Yeah, Steve Harvey.
Steve Harvey's never that funny, but Steve Harvey worked, bro. That dude, there's very few people that got an work ethic like Steve Harvey, bro. So that's how he's able to get ahead, because he just worked.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, he put in the time and effort, man, and made it happen. Yeah, RIP to D'Angelo for sure. Salute to Rosetown, man. Appreciate you coming through. Let's just get into it, man. The Raiders were able to get the dub against the Tennessee Titans. Like I was saying after the game, I wasn't like, oh man, the Raiders won. I was like, okay, cool. Like it was good to see them win, but at the same time, it's like it didn't answer the questions that I had with this team, But what I will say is that, Chip Kelly, the coaching staff, they kind of like did what I was hoping that we're gonna do with Geno Smith, and they were like basically not trying to have him make a big mistake, which he did anyways. This is how bad he's playing. He's still gonna just, for whatever reason, Geno has to get an interception. Like has to be part of his stat line. But what I mean by that is like a lot of short passing, not super aggressive throwing it down the field, heavy emphasis on running the football. And it was just ball control type of offense. Defense held up their end of the bargain plus more. I mean, they had like 6 sacks, 3 turnovers. So they didn't really have to do too much on offense. But against the Chiefs on the road, I mean, we'll see. We'll see. I wonder because some people were kind of like, oh man, like you guys are overreacting, and I'm like, hold up. Like there was people like, oh man, the Raiders did a lot of great things, and I don't know why everybody's just all like, they're not excited about this win. I'm like, it was against the Titans. They were not a great team to begin with.
Yeah.
So how are we supposed to get excited when we know what it really is? It's like the Titans are one of the worst offenses in the NFL. The Titans are one of the worst against the run. And, so on and so forth. Like they're one of the worst teams in the NFL. Literally the only win they had was a fluke. I'm not trying to like take a win away from a team, but they literally Cam Ward literally threw an interception. The guy fumbled, and the fumble went into the end zone, and the Titans scored. That was one of their touchdowns that helped them come back to take the lead.
Exactly.
So that's the type of team that the Raiders were playing, a team that was just not good enough to win games. And guess what happened? They fired their head coach. They went ahead and fired their coach. Second time that I can remember, the Raiders were able to like literally play a team, and then that Monday their coach gets fired. I mean, we all remember that Chargers game where the Raiders went crazy and scored like a crazy amount of points. 63, and then Brendan Staley and Tom Telesco got fired that Monday. And then you go now, you got Brian Callahan getting fired. I said the bright side to that was Bill Callahan might be available as an offensive line coach. Just throwing it out there, But someone was like, well, the Titans offensive line is trash. Like, I don't know. Why would you want to get a coach that But I'm like, hey, look, he's well respected around the league. He has a resume. And if a guy like that is available, I'm just saying, man.
Yeah.
Makes too much sense.
Not like he had a lot to work with. Obviously they drafted J.C. Latham, but other than that, like he wasn't working with a whole bunch in terms of, talent and personnel over there. So, but we already know Pete Carroll and never getting rid of Brandon.
He's not gonna get so.
He's not gonna get rid of Brandon.
Yeah. And then they already got like, even if they brought him as an advisor role, they already have Joe Philbin in there. So it's like, man.
I remember Taylor Lewan was already saying it's kind of too many cooks in the kitchen already. So, you add another voice that could, cause further confusion. So it's like at this point, we're starting to get it together a little bit. Let's try to keep it going.
Yeah. So we'll see. I mean, what was your like biggest take from the game?
Let me say. So I said it was a man. It was one of those situations where it was a weird game because I don't think the scoreboard showed just how much in control of the game we were, but at the same time, the game was a lot closer than it was at the same time because obviously they had a fumble in their own territory. That was one of our touchdowns, and then they had an interception they threw in field goal territory. Or when they were in field goal range. So that's 3 points off the board for them. So that's like a 10-point flip right there, So if they didn't have these mistakes that they made, could have been a situation where the game was a lot closer. And you would hope that a team that's as bad as they are, that's struggling as mightily as they were coming into the game, that we would kind of be able to just like run roughshod over them. Like, show them like, hey, there is a difference between us and you. And I don't think we did that enough. There were plays and some occasions where, hey, we're clearly the better team. But then it was long stretches where it was like, I don't want to say we were playing down. I don't want to say we were playing down to the level of our competition because, like, we weren't that good either. So, like, we both came in with basically the same record. So, like, you are what your record says you are. And at that point, we were both at the same amount of wins on the season. So, you would hope that you would just get that team out of here early. But the fact that we didn't, I think that could be some cause for concern.
Yeah, I feel you. You would think that it even would be a bigger, but like the Raiders are really not in a position to where you can say that they're a guaranteed win every weekend. Even this game, even though I picked them to win and I picked it to the score, y'all. Hey man, for anybody, I'm just saying it out there. If y'all got a gambling whatever problem or whatever, hey, tune in every Thursdays. It's going to be a prediction by me because I predicted the score 20-10 win. But anyways, like the Raiders, obviously they won the game, but it was just like, it didn't just give you the confidence where you be like, oh man, like this is a new improved team. Like it was just more of they did what they needed to do to win the game. And they just it seemed like they were the better team overall. They were going against a rookie QB, so that's an advantage for like a Patrick Graham and that defense. Like they can just do simple things and get, pressure the quarterback, and it's like game over after that. But it wasn't like like the fact that Jefferson was getting catches, I was just like, come on, bro. That's disgusting, man. Like
Van
that's
Jefferson.
like the third or was he like the third or fourth receiver? He just starting by injuries, or he might be the number 2. Because Ridley went out.
Ridley went out.
Ridley went out. Yeah, it just didn't. There are certain things that didn't look good, and then it's another thing. All right, they won. All right, that's the positivity. They won, cool. But all right, I got to get back to the realistic stuff here. I got to talk about the real. And one of the reals is that, like, man, is Pete Carroll, like, is he delusional, or does he know the truth, and he just got to make sure that he coaches up a certain way for the people, like the locker room and the team, to believe? Because he was saying comments like, oh man, like Kelly, you know, he had a bounce back game, and, you know, Patrick Graham did some things to get him going. He's a really good player. And then I'm like, come on, bro. This Kelly dude is trash, bro. Put in the rookie that you drafted in the 3rd round. Like get him some snaps. Like, he needs experience. Like, didn't he change his position from wide receiver to corner, and he balled out as a corner his last year before getting into the draft? This is your guy. He played well, limited snaps the week prior. Why did he not get any snaps in there outside of being in, I think, in special teams? Yeah. It's like stuff like that. I'm like, come on, bro. Like, what are you doing? And then I noticed that they had a couple of D linemen inactive. I'm like,
yeah, Pegues and Tonga Hemingway. After they played pretty solidly last week, so you would hope that would kind of like let them build off of that. But, you know, Laulu was going crazy. Leaky 4-2 had a sack as well.
He did.
You know, that's kind of good. But in terms of Darian Porter, I completely agree. And the fact that, like, this is the perfect team, bro. Like, this team has basically no threats at wide receiver outside of Calvin Ridley. Tyler Lockett is old. You know, like, you're not super worried about him. The DK guy, like, you know, you ain't super worried about him. Obviously, Van Jefferson, he's been in the league for a cool little minute and never been anything more than a number 3 receiver in the league. So, like, this is the perfect team to kind of get Darian Porter some experience, get his feet wet, let him build some confidence, and get him more exposure to actual live action in an NFL game. And I think we kind of missed the opportunity to do that, especially with the way our D-line was playing. Like, our D-line was playing really well. They were getting pressure, you know, pretty consistent pressure. The way we were kind of like using the simulated blitz, it was causing confusion on the offensive line for the Titans. So we were able to get some free rushers and create and generate a lot of pressures and a lot of hurries on a rookie quarterback. Like, this is the opportune time for you to get a guy like Darian Porter, especially after he just got some action last week and he never didn't get a whole bunch of targets, but he did solidly the week before. Let him build on that this week. Don't, like, give him a little bit and then take it away and not give him any more exposure at all. So it just, like, I don't understand what his plan is.
His plan is job security. That's what his plan is. His plan is, I'm not trying to lose this job in the first year. I don't want to be forced to retire. I'm going to put in the guys so I feel like I can trust the most, which are veterans, for the most part, outside of, like, maybe a Genty and maybe, you know, at this point they've determined that maybe Jack Bech is going to give him a little bit more than what a Dante Thornton would give you, which he did see more snaps, I believe, but he didn't get any. I don't think he got any targets, and that probably has something to do with Geno and them trying to, like, keep him from turning the ball over and throwing it down the field. And his responsibility probably mostly were to block for the most part, which is fine, which is a strength by him. But then, you know, a team like the Chiefs that's coming up, they're going to have to open it up a little bit. They're going to have to take some shots down the field. They can't do what they did in order to win like they did with the Titans, because Titans are a bad team. They can get away with the way their offense was, where they just kept it safe and just ran the ball. And Genty could have had, you know, I want to say could have had a bigger game. It was like it was a tough but good outing overall. Like his average didn't show it, but like they gave him the ball like about 23 times. He rushed for like 75 yards. There was a few times where he ran where they got into the backfield. But he had a few good runs.
Yeah.
At first I thought that that touchdown, shout out to Marcus. I thought that touchdown was all like that was the offensive line, but like he kind of set it up.
He didn't. I think people want to say it because what Marcus is not. I think and Marcus is a smart guy, but when you play defense, what you realize, especially in NFL, what teams do, people always think that teams go off the running back or the running back tricked them, and no, like the linebackers aren't looking at a running back's eyes. Like you're smarter than that. What teams do or defenders do, especially linebackers, is they look at the motion of the offensive line. So what the linebacker did was he saw a double team developing it would have been to his right. He saw the double team developing over there. So the action of the offensive line said, bam, they're the double team right here. This is the hole right here. So what Genty did a good job of is not giving it away. So if you look at Genty, you just look at his helmet. Look at his helmet. His helmet is straight until the very last second. Then he makes that cut. So as soon as that linebacker jumps there, Genty sees it, bam. I'm over here. So he did a good job of staying patient, being disciplined. And as soon as he saw his opportunity, he made that cut. And even if dude was in the hole, I think Genty was going to run him over anyway. But he just did a very good job of just not even giving dude the opportunity to lay a hit on him. Like, look at his helmet. Just look at it. All you got to do is look at his helmet stripe. His helmet stripe is straight. So he's looking dead at the dude. And as soon as he makes that cut, bam, Genty he's out of there. He's gone.
And I'll say this about Genty's game too. It's like, I think as soon as the Titans figured out like, oh, you guys are not going to push it down the field.
Yeah.
they kind of was like, all right, well, we're just going to worry about Genty, and Gino's not going to throw it past this yard mark or whatever. But either way, they got the W. I just
he had some great man, but still he had some like just tough. I mean, it was a solid outing. Like, he had some really, really good runs, especially like the run where he saw the cutback and he was out there. I think it's just him and L'Jarius Sneed. He had L'Jarius Sneed with that smooth stiff arm. Yeah, he had another nice cutback on another run. So you kind of see him like, hey, you know what? He's kind of seeing, and I don't know if it's designed because, well, I think it might have been designed as if you look how Trey Tucker is blocking. Trey Tucker is sealing the outside. So he's like, if it's a run that's designed to go inside, Trey Tucker would want to turn the defender so the defender's back is facing the sideline. But if you look at Trey Tucker on that play, when Genty is running, Trey Tucker turns inside. So he's pushing the defender back toward the other offensive lineman. So it looks like it was a designed outside run, yet and still Genty did such a good job setting it up that you would think that it's going to be a inside run, and then he cuts that thing back. So, and when he's one-on-one with a defender, he's going to get a few extra yards. And that's one thing consistently the entire night. One thing that you will see, even though he didn't always have great success running or get a whole bunch of yardage, at no point did he really get like stalled, or no point did he get hit and like fall backwards. Every run he had, he was getting hit and okay, another 2 yards right here. Okay, I'm taking 2 guys, another 3 yards right here. And when you're in that kind of game, like you say, man, you just want to keep creating yardage. Like keep yourself on schedule. That way, when it's instead of a 3rd and 8, you were in a 3rd and 5 or 3rd and 4. So that's what you want to keep doing, and that's he did a good job of, for the most part, keeping us on schedule.
I just thought he was going to have a bigger game, but it's the way the offense and the way everything kind of unfolded. Like he did what he needed to do. The Raiders got the W. I just thought he was going to have a big game, just because like looking at the numbers, like Titans they struggled against the run, but like, and this is going to be interesting to see moving forward with the Raiders offense. Is like, at some point, like Gino's play and the Raiders trying to, like, I don't want to say protect Gino, but like, because obviously they didn't want to throw the ball down the field as much. I wonder if that's going to continue. I wonder if they're going to open that back up, because like eventually they're going to have to like change it up a little bit in order for the offense to sustain some of these drives. And then they're going to have to get some chunk plays. Like, you can't just constantly get like 5 yard. Like, it's hard to just have those long drives every time. Eventually, you're going to have a big play here and there, whether it's a run play or whether it's pass plays, and the way the other team is playing defense, like if they're taking away the run and they're selling out to the run, then we got to take advantage of that. So hopefully Geno can get his act together and he could play some good football, man. Man, shout out to my guy, Big Mike Raider in the building, man. Appreciate the super chat.
Oh, my dog with the $20 haymaker, as he would say. Appreciate you, big dog.
Appreciate it. He said, past my bedtime, have a show, fellas, man. Appreciate you coming through and supporting, man, my guy, man. Definitely check out Big Mike Raider on YouTube. If you haven't, subscribe. Definitely subscribe, man. My guy, 30 for 30. Was it 30 prospects?
Yeah, 30 days.
It's legendary. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't think he's gonna. It might be a possibility he might start early.
I was trying to put the bug in his ear, like, bro, start looking at it now.
My God, man. But yeah, definitely check him out, man. One of the great YouTube Raider YouTubers out there. So definitely subscribe to my guy, Big Mike Raider, man. Appreciate everybody pulling up, man. We're gonna have a great conversation. I see the chat's going crazy. TK says Pete has been known for being too loyal. Seattle moved on from him for that reason, so we are screwed because he ain't gonna fire his son, and that's why we need a new O-line coach. Look, and this was supposed to be a notable quotable last week. We got some other notable quotables that we're gonna play, but I will just bring up this conversation because I posted it on X. I posted on social media, and it was a clip from Tom Brady before the season when he got interviewed, and it was a really good conversation. Y'all should check it out. But one of the things that he was saying, we're approaching the timeline that he was kind of like talking about with teams that either get worse or get better. And he was saying that, 5 games in, fans usually give up or they start, like questioning everything. And he says around Thanksgiving is where you start to notice if teams get worse or teams get better. Like certain teams usually because he says it's not really about the results. It's more about like them kind of doubling down on the processes and, like everything that they need to do in order to be prepared to play in some of these games. He said the wins are going to come. But it's going to be interesting to see how this team progresses because he put out the timeline. He said Thanksgiving. So I'm going to pay attention to that because this is what he believes. And he's the minority owner of the Raiders. And we all know that Mark Davis has empowered him to, make this football decisions in that building. So if this team gets worse, and I guess this is a good segue, if they lose the locker room, does he continue on with does he decide to move forward with a guy like Pete Carroll? Now, speaking of losing a locker room, we'll put it all together. We're gonna bunch it all together. After the win, Paul Gutierrez of all people had a quote. Good old Paul. Paul works for the Raiders. He's been working for the Raiders for a long time. But he worked for the Raiders. No. He works for the Raiders.
Works directly for them now.
Directly for the Raiders. And he got a quote from, the Raiders locker room from Jamal Adams. And the quote, let me go ahead and read this real quick. I don't know if you have it in front of you, Severe, but I'll just pull it up here. Let's see.
I don't have it in front of me right now.
Man, I should have pulled that up. My bad, y'all, man. If you haven't already, make sure to click and hit that like button, hit that subscribe button.
Yeah, I hit up the chat real quick.
Go ahead.
Shout out to Big Mike. Super Armicon, Severe just wish he had downfield. He was downfield with big runs like Jonathan Taylor, but it's going to take some time. Yeah, that's not really his game. He'll get some. We saw him do it against Chicago. He's not going to be that guy consistently. He's going to be a guy that, I'm going to get 8 yards. I'm going to get 10 yards. I'm going to get 15 yards. Like, he's a guy that's going to do that a lot more often and break, 4 or 5 tackles on the way to doing that. But still, hey, at the end of the game, you look up, oh, man, Ashton Jeanty, he had 25 carries for, 122 yards. So stuff like, he's going to do stuff like that. It's not often will he be the guy that, oh, man, Ashton Jeanty went for 80. He ain't going to do the Bijan where he goes for 81 on a consistent basis. We've seen him do it, so he can do it, but that's not really his game. He's more like, I hate to make that comparison. I know Pharaoh hates it, but like I like a Josh Jacobs type. Like he's more in that vein.
Who? Ashton Jeanty?
Yeah.
As far as how good he'll be, or his like stylistically,
his style. In terms of like how the kind of runs he'll make. Like he ain't gonna be like a big play guy. He's gonna be a guy that's gonna he'll have some big runs, but his big run will be like 22 yards. Oh, man, that's a big run. It's like very, very rarely, like that 64-yarder, that was like set up perfectly for him to have that kind of run in that particular situation, just because, how they blitzed and, the bad angle the guy took. And then the fact that he was able to break the tackle, the broken tackle was all him. But, like to expect that out of him consistently, I don't see it yet. But I do see more juice out of him. And I've been seeing it the last 2-3 weeks, a little bit more juice, even on those little pitch plays they give him. It's seen a little more spring in his step, so that's a positive development, because if he has that, you can't deal with him. You really can't deal with him. If you can't tackle him, and he can outrun you, then ain't too much you can do with him at that point.
Yeah, it's kind of hard, man. Sometimes it's hard to evaluate like him right now, because it's like a lot of inconsistent things going on around him. Hopefully the offensive line could be better, so then we can see exactly what his game is. But yeah, I could see that a little bit. I mean, but I don't know, man. Like
the way because he's not a 4-4 guy, bro. This is not a 4-4 guy.
I'm just saying, like when he gets into space, it's just something crazy. Is like I'm expecting something crazy to happen. I don't know. Like and we haven't seen a lot of that. Like, but when there's been that, it's just been something special. He'll break a tackle, and that tackle will turn into like you said, 15, 20-yard gain. But then the big plays will happen if they can just find ways to get him to second level. That's why I've been like hoping and praying that Chip Kelly's all like, you know what? Let's throw a screen to him.
Yeah.
Let's give him some design pass plays.
But they did. He was one-on-one on outside with a corner, and then the corner tackled him.
Was that a screen?
It was like a little. It was like a screen.
No, not that one. Not for real. That was.
No,
Gino
they
be
threw
late
like a little
too.
bit. They threw a little baby. No, not that one. Not the one where he got hit. I'm talking about the one where he was one-on-one. I think it wasn't L'Jarius Sneed that tackled. It was somebody else. But it was like a little screen out to the right. And he was one-on-one with a corner, and then like the corner basically dragged him out of bounds. But Gino, I mean, he had a nice run. I think he got like 10, 11 yards on it, but he was one-on-one outside with a corner, and the corner was able to tackle him. So situations like that, you want, especially somebody that's as physical as him, to, hey, you know what, lower your shoulder into that guy. Like if you're gonna get tackled, at least lower your shoulder to him, run him over, fall forward, or put a move on him and get around him. And that play was one of those plays where he almost was like, all right, I'm okay getting tackled right here. And that's not usually what you see out of Jeanty.
Yeah, Trout. I don't think Jeanty's a 4-4 guy. I don't think he has like game breaking speed, but like what he does have is that like he doesn't break speed.
Exactly.
Like when someone hits him, he doesn't lose the speed, and he just keeps going. And that's how you could be like, oh, that's how he gets a lot of big plays. Because usually when someone gets hit, they slow down. Then then two other guys come and they just tackle him. But him, like in the open field, not when there's like, bruh, like so I'm like, man, he's special in that way. So I'm like, they gotta find ways to get him in those situations, and that's on Chip Kelly. That's on Chip Kelly. And the only screen that I could think of, like I'm talking about like a legit screen, because they threw a screen last game to Michael Mayer. The only screen was against the Colts, that first red zone drive where it was 3rd down and long after Gino got sacked, and they threw a screen to Jeanty, and he got some yards out of it. It wasn't all of it, but he got like half of like the yard, like it was probably like first and it was 1st and goal, but it was like 15 yards away to score around that, and he got like probably like 7-8 yards. I'm like, man, like we need to find a way to get him in space like that, like. And that's, to me, that's on Chip Kelly. That's criticism that I have is like, man, they haven't really done a good job of like, and I think they're realizing, because I think this is probably the first game where they're like, you know what, this offense goes through Genty. So maybe as time goes on, they're gonna find now. Yeah. And maybe as time goes on, as the season goes on, we're gonna see more of like creative ways of how they get, you know, Genty involved. But here's the quote by Jamal Adams, by Paul Gutierrez that he got from him. He says, "Man, it was much needed." This is about the Raiders win. "You dropped a couple of games, 4 games. The outside starts to turn on you. Inside, we start questioning a lot of things. So this was a huge win for a confidence boost, getting back on track. That's the most positive thing we can do." So the key parts of this was when he says, so this was a huge, no, he says, we start inside. This is the key part. That was the biggest quote from here. "Inside, we start to question a lot of things." I heard that, I was like, what the hell? Like, he said that after a win? Like, that's something that you probably want to keep to yourself, because, you know, like, people are going to see that and they're going to, like, turn that into, like, a whole lot of things. But you know, maybe that's him just being honest. But I was like, damn, Paul Gutierrez put this out? I'm like, you work for the Raiders. Maybe that was his, like, you know, former days of not working for the Raiders came out on that.
Or whatever, yeah.
Yeah, like, I was, like, surprised. I was like, damn, like, he put this out? Inside, we start to question a lot of things.
Yeah.
That's the first thing I was like, why did Paul Gutierrez put this out? That's interesting. Maybe that was on purpose. But that's a whole different. That's the conspiracy.
Hey,
you know, I don't want to.
But see, but like you would put it on socials where it's like you kind of wish, like, I think he was the Drewski, like, what do you mean by that?
What do you mean by that?
What do you mean by that?
That's what I would have said. That like, see, if I was Paul, I would have been like,
what were you questioning?
Inside. Like,
like, what are you,
like,
inside of yourself, inside of the locker room, inside of Henderson? Like, what inside are you? Yeah, that would have been a good follow-up in that instance, because sometimes guys just be talking. Sometimes, you know, you'll realize, like, they just say stuff. If you say, like, that's like the answer that they think people want, like, they think will fit the narrative. Oh yeah, man, we were almost checked out, and, you know, hey, we're down on the luck. We thought we were gonna call it a season, and then we got this win, and now we're back rejuvenated. And so they like, but, you know, that makes me think, like, as you kind of alluded to before with the Pratt stuff, him not being happy, basically being told to go home. We kind of heard about a frosty relationship between JPJ and Pete Carroll. We kind of see, like, you know, like kind of Jack Best stuff seem maybe he's like a little personal. So you kind of wonder, and then, like, obviously you see the guys that, you know, we heard before. Some of the beat writers were talking about some of the players were feeling there was some favoritism going on. We've heard about that before in the Seattle days. So is this kind of rearing its ugly head again, where it's like, hey, you know what? Certain people have to compete. Certain people don't have to compete. Certain people walk right into jobs. Other people have to compete, seems like, on a weekly basis just for the opportunity to play. So, like, if guys notice that, it has an effect on them. And, you know, they will kind of, like, that it will build a divide in that locker room between the guys that are kind of in the circle and, you know, the teachers' pets, you know, for lack of a better word, and the other people. And once you have that divide, it's kind of hard to play unified on the field when there's that divide everywhere else. So kind of hope that's not what's going on. But with some of the recent events and some of the comments we've heard about, you know, from, you know, Pratt to Jamal Adams to obviously the PG last week, kind of start to raise your eyebrows a little bit.
Yeah, no, definitely. I mean, that comment right there was crazy. I mean, obviously the Jermaine Pratt thing was interesting, and then we seen how Patrick Graham reacted to Jermaine Pratt. Like, he didn't really say anything about it where you were like, oh man, like, we're moving on to bigger and better things. So we're like, oh, maybe it might have been like a disconnect there with, like, Jermaine Pratt and the coaching staff. He was more like, he made a comment about, like, he would want good players. I'm like, hold up. You only make that comment if you wanted him to stay. Like, you didn't want that move to happen. And he was super, you could tell, like, he was super animated and, like, kind of mad in some ways, like, more than I ever seen him at a presser. But whatever that was, it translated to the team and to that defense, and they played kind of inspired football against the Titans, and they got that W. So it is what it is. But I thought that was interesting that Jamal Adams would say inside we started questioning a lot of things. So it's like, So what's gonna happen? What's gonna happen when you guys like against the Chiefs? I'm gonna be honest, like
Pharaoh, he still was gonna say it, and he didn't say it. He wanted to say it, and he stopped.
I'll be honest, man.
He hit the brakes. He hit the brakes quick.
You know, because I don't know, people they're not ready for that type of honesty. That honesty is like, come on, man. The Chiefs, Arrowhead, Andy Reid, Rashid Rice comes back, perfect timing. Like what the hell? Like that's their best receiver. You know what I mean? That's like, you know, that's Mahomes' guy right now. He's like people talk about the Kelsey connection but at this point Kelsey's past his prime. The only thing left right now is like probably chemistry. Good chemistry with guys, but Rashid Rice is kind of a guy that like that's their number one receiver. So, and then you combine their number one receiver with like the speed they got, like the Thornton guy that he ran like a 4.2. I remember coming out, and he was with like the Patriots, and then you know he comes to the Chiefs and he's a weapon for them. And then we all know who Xavier Worthy is, like he's another 4.2 guy. So like the corners are definitely gonna get tested. They're going to have to run. And this is definitely a Darian Porter game. You got to put that man out there, man. Come on, man. What are we doing? What are we doing?
Not happening.
Yeah. But it's you hear that quote that I was able to say, and then you go back to that, you know, that clip of that video that we got some other stuff that we're going to play, but just check it out. Tom Brady just talking about like, you know, teams either getting worse or getting better. And he talks about how like the fans start turning on you and then this, that, third. It's just like, it's like an avalanche of certain things, and certain teams either go left or they go right, but we'll see. We'll see if this team gets better at some point. It may not, it may be now, it may be around Thanksgiving, but I just want to see, because if this team gets better, then I'm like, okay, they're building something here. Whatever they're doing, it's working. You know, maybe they missed the playoffs this year, but if it doesn't get better, they lose the locker room, and then you got a top 10 pick to maybe possibly top 5, maybe top 3, depending on how the Raiders finish. We all know, like, I'm not going to guarantee that the Raiders are going to get like a top 3 pick, because we've thought that like last season and it didn't happen. So so it's like, do you and we all have that feeling of like, if they get like a top 3 pick, top 5 pick, like there's a good chance they're going to go quarterback. It's like, damn, do you want them to draft a quarterback? Like this coaching staff, do you want them to get drafted quarterback? It's like kind of a weird situation, like where you feel like, how long are they going to be there?
Yeah.
And I don't want a quarterback to come in that type of situation. I'd rather him just have at least 3 to 4 years with the same coaching staff that believes in them, you know what I mean? And they can develop them within that same system. I don't want it to be like a 1-year deal and then we got to go to a whole different offense, and then we all seen how that doesn't work. We all seen how like certain players that can derail their career. You know, it could like certain players can't survive that, you know, like the constant, you know, and that's been the Raiders' MO for years. So I'm trying to make sense of it, but we'll get into that. We appreciate everybody coming through. Make sure to clock in, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell. Man, the chat's going crazy, man. I got to catch up real quick. D's on the building, man. Appreciate you pulling up. JPJ stuff made 0 sense. No, facts.
Yeah.
Facts. To be fair, there's a lot that we probably don't know that's happening in the locker room, but it's just the way they communicated that, and it was just like, and the stuff that they were trying to sell us, like Alex Kappa was like, come on, like that was just weird. Come on, man, like, and then like you're trying to say
Jason Kelce is married to Jason Kelce, like, come on, bro, like
you compare Jason Kelce to Meredith.
I know you're trying to sell this, but like, come on, bro, come on, dog.
And that was coming. It's not just coming from Pete Carroll. It's coming from Chip Kelly. So
that was Chip. Coach. Yeah, that was Chip.
Yeah, I was like, why would you compare him to Jason Kelce? Just say that you like him as a player and talk about his strengths and leave it at that. Like when you say Kelce, we're always gonna remember that. We're always gonna remember it, and then the fact that it's always gonna come back. Like, all right, is this the day that he plays like Kelce? Oh, nope. Like, is this the day that he plays like Kelce? Like,
Facts.
You know, it's just put a whole lot of pressure on him, and then like the inconsistency with the competition. Like, if Geno continues to play the way he plays, are you going to stick with him at quarterback? That's going to be interesting to see. And I'm sure that's what the questions might have been in that locker room with Jamal Adams is alluding, was like, bro, this man, Geno, he out here, you know, pretty much losing. He's losing the games. Like, the Raiders could easily be like maybe 3-3, at least, at the very least, 3-3.
Yeah, 3-3. Yeah, it's the Chicago game,
and they got this win over there. But you know, if you want to say 4-2 with that Chargers game, it's still close. It's still close. You know,
I go 3-3.
3-3. You know, you ain't gonna give nothing. You're not gonna give nothing.
It is,
you're not gonna give him the benefit of the doubt.
This coaching staff haven't earned that for me,
man.
But 3-3 for sure. 3-3 for sure. But you know, but look, you know, you think about. Like, just in terms of the questions, obviously there's questions about the quarterback situation, how they're handling that, whether Geno should have been pulled. Pete Carroll talking about you leaving a man to practice. Like, bro, what? For practice? You leaving this grown ass 35-year-old man in the NFL game to practice? Like, bro, that's what. Like, they have something throughout the week. Yeah, it's called practice. Like, that's when you do that. And then, you know, the JPJ stuff is weird. And then look, like we talked. Coach, but we talked about it a little bit. But Patrick Graham, like we weren't running the normal cover 3. First of all, I saw a lot more pressure than I've ever seen us do this year at all, and like we weren't in cover 3 a lot of the time. You know, it was too high a lot of the time. Like most NFL teams are running. Like, you know, they were running a lot of too high. So the modern NFL was doing that. So hey, welcome to the 2025 Raiders. Thank you for modernizing your defense. So like that seems like a situation where Patrick Graham was like, yo, bro, you cut Jermaine Pratt, I'm running my defense how I want to run my defense. Like, this is how basically how it's gonna go. And you know, the opponent, you know, you don't want to jump for joy yet or start spiking the football just yet. But you know, like it. At least you did it. You want to do it against an opponent. You can't help who was in front of you at that particular time. Now you also want to carry this forward. And running that too high, that's going to be very good practice for a team like the Chiefs, especially you got receivers like Thornton and Worthy that can take the top off. Hollywood Brown, I think, is over there. I think he's healthy, right? Yeah, Hollywood Brown, I think, is over there as well. So you obviously want to protect against that. So this was the perfect time to kind of deploy it.
No, facts. That's a good point about how Patrick Graham was able to get to his, because obviously early on, all this cover 3 that they're running, we all know what that is. That was all coming from Pete Carroll. And the fact that they would change it up a little bit this game, and it's funny how Pete tried to, Patrick Graham, he tried to give, Patrick Graham some credit. I'm like, bro, like, let him do what he does. Just let him be a defensive coordinator. And you just look, to me, a great coach is a guy that delegates.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? I mean, obviously, like the Kyle Shanahan's, like they're gonna have a heavy, and I'm sure Pete Carroll's also gonna have an influence on the game plan as well.
Exactly.
On how they're planning an attack and all that. But delegate. You know what I mean? Like, that's why Jim Harbaugh's a great coach, because he gets great assistants. He gets great, smart minds around him to the great X's and O's guys, and while he coaches the team. And I'm sure from a philosophical, standpoint, he's gonna like have some input, just like a lot of the great coaches have. But like at the end of the day, you gotta let your guys do their job. Like, and I feel like, we kind of seen a little bit of, Pete Carroll wanting to have a little bit more say on the defense when he brought Patrick Graham from the booth, when the last like couple seasons where he's had success. And I'm saying success where, look, I feel like people kind of like are taking Patrick Graham for granted, Because I've been seeing stuff, some comments where people are like, oh, Patrick Graham, like his defense, like, he's doing the most with what he's have. That's what's impressive about Patrick Graham. He's doing the most with what he has. He doesn't have, like, if you look at the defenses from the last few seasons, a lot of the talent on the team is mostly on the offense. It's not the defense. Like let's be real. Like I'm seeing all these people around here saying like, oh, Patrick Graham, he doesn't know what he's doing. His bend but don't break defense. He's doing that because that's what he has to do. He doesn't have guys like he has Max Crosby and that's it. Like Max Crosby and a whole lot of guys that need to figure it out, that need to get better and they need to develop. Now I will say this, and this is on Patrick. Maybe this is a criticism that I and you could admit, and we could probably look at Patrick Graham a little bit like you should have made that work. Divine Diablo.
Yeah, man. Look, look at me. I've been telling people for as long. People don't want to hear me. Oh, Divine I'm telling you, because what they were asking Divine Diablo to do was essentially be like the only athlete at linebacker. Like he was the only, because Spillane can do it. So had a big responsibility. So he had to cover up for a lot of lack of athleticism and coverage in other guys. So that hurt him. As soon as you put him in a system where he doesn't have to cover up for a whole bunch of other people's mistakes and everybody's kind of working together in unison, you see what he's able to do in Atlanta. Atlanta has the number 1 defense in the league right now. So like they're cooking right now. Obviously they had 2 high first round, two top pass rushers they drafted, and James Pierce and forget the other guy. But he's a guy you should have been able to use because he's a converted safety. So you shouldn't, some of the stuff that we were asking him to do in that defense, we shouldn't have been asking him to do. But that's why, at this point it's water under the bridge. Devin White, he had a great game, but he also had some situations where it's like, bro, come on now. Missed some open field tackles. Landon Roper is super solid. Jamal Adams, I think Jamal Adams had a good game as well. Looking back at it. So, but our corners are questionable, super questionable. Our safeties are questionable, So, it's not a lot to work with. I think Adam Butler's underrated. Obviously, I think if you just look at it, Adam Butler's doing a lot of the dirty work that doesn't show up in the stat sheet. He's the pick man in a lot of stunts. He's a guy that's taking on a lot of double teams. Like even Max wasn't being generally double teamed a lot this game. They were sending a chip his way. Then it was 1-on-1 after that. Like Adam Butler was getting double teamed very consistently. And because he was getting double teamed consistently, guys like Leki Fotu and Jonah Loalu are more free to get out there and kind of do their thing.
Why was that happening? Why was Adam Butler getting double teamed? Is it because they couldn't, like he was giving early pressure? They was determined.
He's their best interior defensive line. He's their best interior defensive line.
Yeah, but he hasn't really flashed too much this year.
Because he's getting double teams. I'm telling you, watch. He's getting double temed. If you probably look at his double team rate. He's for sure double team more than anybody else on our team. And that's with Max out there. So that's what I'm saying. They usually send chips Max way. They'll chip him on a running back or they're chipping with a tight end, and then usually they have him 1-on-1 with a tackle. So that's part of the reason why he's able to make so many plays. Adam Butler's on the interior. They're consistently double teaming him. That's why you look at Jonah Laulu's play. Like he's singled up. Leki Fotu's play. He's singled up. Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure. He's balling.
He's stepping up. He's not perfect. He gotta be more consistent.
Especially against the run. But
yeah, I think just as like it's a good like there's a future with him. Like you could continue to develop him. He can get better and better. Man, I feel like we might have we might have somebody there, but I still feel like we need to add more talented defensive line, like for sure.
Definitely. Because like I said, he's a liability against the run. He's really good against the pass. And like Adam Butler talked about it this offseason. Like he was like, man, like Jonah Laulu, he reminds me of me when I first got into the league. He's like, that's why he said, hell, that's my like. Essentially, almost like he didn't say that's his rookie, but he's like, that's the guy I'm taking under my wing. Like I'm working with him all the time because I see me in him. And I know he like right now he still struggles against the run. He's like, that's what I did as a rookie as well. And, and as I got, kind of later in my career, I got better and better at it. But I think, yeah, as a guy, as interior pass rusher, like, yeah, Jonah Laulu, he offers a lot. Dude has good hands. He's quick as hell. Has a good get off. He's shown you that spin move like on a few occasions. So he has a move and then he has a counter off that move as well. So like that's kind of what you want to see, especially a guy that's playing on the interior. If you get a guy that's playing on the interior that can kind of have some pass rush moves, have good hand usage, has moves and counter moves, then you got something to kind of work with.
Yeah, I'm looking more. I mean, to be honest with you, like I was looking at the draft. I'm like, there's a possibility that we might not be high enough to get like one of the best two guys. There's a possibility that can happen, especially the way Pete Carroll is kind of going about. Like he's gonna want to win, so I could see him like kind of like maybe having the team win a few games, and it might affect their draft position where they could have been top 5, top 3, but they're in the top 10. If that's the case, I feel like it's going to be another year where we get like best player available. And if that's the case, I'm like looking at other guys like, all right, well, this might be a year he's going top 5 though.
Yeah, for sure.
He's going top 5. Like we have to be in the top 5. We have to be. We have to be in the top 5 for that, and we can't. Yeah, he's going top 5.
He might go top 3.
We still probably can get another edge. We can get another edge or offensive tackle, or offensive tackle, because I feel like that's where like at that. I think that would probably be where all the value would be. Yeah. The dark horse, maybe Raider Nation probably doesn't want to hear this. Maybe like a true X receiver. You know what I mean? But I don't want that. I don't want that. But you know.
No. Know who the dark horse is? And I've been resistant to it. I've been hella resistant to it, huh?
The safety from Ohio State.
Yeah, Caleb Downs, bro. I've been resistant to it too. It'll be 3 years in a row where like I don't want to draft a tight end in the first round, but like damn, Brock is so good, you had to do it. Like I don't want to draft the running back in the first round, but yeah, if you feel like this way about Genty, you got to do it. And if you get a chance to Caleb Downs, I don't want to draft a safety in the first round, but it's almost like, damn, do you got to do it with? You almost have to. It's almost like a Brock Genty situation again, where it's like he's so good and the position is so devalued that you're going to get like a special blue chip player at that position because everybody else kind of devalued it. So we might be in that situation again.
Oh, man, I don't want that. I'd rather go offensive tackle. I know there's gonna be one. There's gonna be one there. If the Raiders are in the top 10, there's gonna be one there. It's just a matter of like
it's so many in this class too though. But that's what's the situation. But see, that's why it's like it's so many in this class that we gonna mess around and take one in the first round. It's gonna be like running back this past year, where it's like, but at least with the offensive tackle, you know that's a position you draft high.
Bro, they could easily draft the offensive tackle.
It's a deep class. It's a deep class this year.
Not to cut you off, but they could easily draft the offensive tackle and then like move maybe Glaze inside.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Because Parham, I don't know if I don't think Parham comes back. They're not going to bring him back, and then I don't know what I don't know if they're going to continue this Meredith at center. But, you know, according to what people are saying, you know, from these guys, these experts, they're over here like saying, oh, he's probably not understanding the calls that center would. But from what it sounds like, it sounds like more to do with Chip likes Meredith. And he likes Meredith. And when he made that comment about JPJ, we like his size. Like we felt like he'd be better to go against like, you know, bigger D tackles and this, that, and the third. So that was like, it sounded like it was a Chip move.
I think it's a Chip. I think Chip is going to.
He went into details to break it down. I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah, but he's an offensive coach. So
former offensive line coach too.
Yeah, if you're a BSer, you're gonna figure out a way to BS. But it's like, it just feels like when Chip was saying it. It was like emotionless. It was just real matter of fact, this, and that. When Pete Carroll was talking about it, it seemed personal. Like, almost like, oh, like, why are you questioning my decision type situation, where it's like, all right, like, you know, this is what it is, and yada, yada, yada. So that's why I was like, you know, it seems like I think Pete Carroll came to that conclusion at this point. Pete Carroll came to that decision. Chip is, hey, you know what? This is what the coach wants. I'm towing the company line. I ain't gonna, you know, I'm gonna go out there. I'm gonna sell it. But Is it that what he really wants? I don't know.
Yeah, man, I don't know. It's tough. It's tough. Cause look, would you be mad if they cause Pete, like there's a good chance Pete gets another year. What happens if they find a way, like Pete finds a way to get rid of like Chip Kelly, and the guy that he hires is the Dolphins head coach?
Oh, I'm good with that, bro. Hell yeah, I'm good with that, bro.
I'm just saying, bro. I'm trying to find ways for this team to be interesting to me, bro. Yeah. Like moving forward.
That's gonna be tough on Mark. It's gonna be tough on Mark. I don't know what kind of guarantee money you got on there, but Mark got it. He's like, yeah. Bring Mike McDaniel in here, bro. I'm good with that, and bring Frank Smith back. Hey, let him be a lead offensive assistant and go back to being tight ends coach. I'm cool. I'm good with that.
Tight ends coach, where he coached up, Darren Waller. Yep. Now he can coach up, Brock Bowers.
Him or Brock Bowers and Michael Mayer. Oh my God.
Ooh, yeah, just let's do that. Let's do that.
Come on.
That'd be nice. That'd be nice. But let's move it along, man. It's that time, man. It is that time, man. It's flag on the play.
Personal foul, 69, offense. He was giving them the business.
So what we got this week, Severe, man? Flag on the play, man. What we got?
First flag on the play, man. This is a little bit of a. It's not really. You usually try to keep it light, keep it funny, man. This one was kind of cold, man. Obviously when you're a beat writer, you follow the team. You kind of get to know the players and the coaching staff and the training staff. On a more personal level, because you're always around the team, always having these conversations with them. Unfortunately, in this particular situation, one of the Panthers beat writers asked a question to Xavier Legette and asked him something about his parents. And I don't think he realized that Xavier Legette's parents had passed away when he was in high school. And they asked him, not a personal question, but they made a comment about his parents. And you can kind of see the pain on Xavier Legette's face.
Yeah. Here we go. Let's see. Let's play the clip here. Let's see if y'all can see it. All right, cool. Here we go.
Audio.
Man, it's on my end. Can y'all hear it? Chat. Night crew.
I can't hear it. Or maybe they can hear it. I can't hear nothing. Yeah, okay. TK said no sound.
No sound. Man, that's ugly. Well, just pay attention to at the end. You can tell, like, right there.
Yeah, man. I was like,
right. So all right, like, he obviously didn't know. He obviously didn't know.
He forgot, I think, because I think it's known, but I think he just wasn't thinking.
He's a mime. All right. Yeah, I'm gonna have to.
Nobody understand Legette anyway. But essentially, I think because I think Legette had told a story in the past about how his parents were Cowboys fans, and obviously, the Panthers were going to play the Cowboys. Obviously, they played them on Sunday, and then the reporters like, oh, they're not going to be Cowboy fans on Sunday, and like they're dead. It's like, oh damn, like.
Yeah, but he didn't. I respect, like, he didn't like lash out at the dude, but he's like he was just like, yeah, no more, and he you could tell, like, man.
Nah, Latrell Sprewell, bro. That's all I gotta say.
Latrell Sprewell.
What's my boy's name? What's the dude that went at Jim Rome? What's my man's name?
I forgot. Man. But that's a classic sports
Jim Everett. Jim Everett.
Yeah, man, that's hella classic. That's classic. Was Jim Rohn on ESPN at some point? Was he on like?
I think he was at some point.
He has his own platform now, but like,
yeah.
Man,
he was doing radio. He was doing radio back then, but he had a show too. But he was doing radio too.
Oh, he for sure did radio. I'm sure, and then he probably, I don't know if he still does, but
I think all those guys do, because like old people still love radio.
Yeah. But it's still out here, man. They still doing their thing, man. Still doing their thing. But look, so we got one more flag on the play. What we got next up?
One more flag on the play. Obviously, everybody saw the Detroit Lions and the Kansas City Chiefs. It was good. It's a good game, man. It's a good game. Obviously, Detroit had some opportunities to win the game, and they end up not winning the game on the field. Brian Branch decided he's gonna win the game after the game. He had a conversation with Juju Smith-Schuster, and we got a great angle of exactly what went down.
All right, here we go. Oh, yeah, I can see this. Perfect. All right. All right, so
Pat kneels. You see Brian Branch. Pat trying to dap him up. He not doing it. He walks straight to Juju, busts him in the face. And Juju comes back at him. They tussling. Brian Branch throws him on the ground. I think that's like kind of like right in that very moment is when they got that photographer is slick, bro. He got that picture quick. That moment went by fast. So that's like at that very moment when he threw him down right there and the helmet's off, like that's when he snapped that picture that everybody sees.
Because at the end of the game, this is all they're doing is just like as soon as the game ends, like they're just taking hella, fast photos of everything that's going on.
The fireworks. You got the fireworks. But like you see Brian Branch. Brian Branch knew exactly what he was on.
We should show the picture. I don't know if people seen the picture.
The picture. Oh yeah, show it.
Oh man, do I have I don't know where. Let's see.
People know exactly what's on. I got it somewhere. People knew exactly what Brian Branch knew exactly what he was on, bro. He had no intention of dapping nobody up. He was strictly there to throw hands. Strictly to throw hands.
Man, that's the one thing when you post on social media, like you gotta like really go back to that happened. Let me see. Oh, I know what I did. I think I posted something.
I got one for you. Here it goes.
They squabbling out here.
This is a cold one. I got it for you. It's like 4. It's 4-1. You might have to blow it up a little bit bigger, but it's smooth though. I just sent it on X.
All right. Yeah, oh man, that's embarrassing. Let's see. Here we go.
Yes, baby. This is the angle, right, bro. Here. That is the coldest angle ever, bro. That is a cold angle, man. They did him dirty. They did him dirty with the eye.
Oh man, yeah, man. So is this a flag on Branch or Juju Smith-Schuster?
Yeah, man, it's a flag on both of them, man. It's a flag on both of them because Juju Smith-Schuster was doing slick stuff throughout the game, and I done seen a few people on X kind of show it where he was like hitting him after the play and hitting him in the back, and the refs weren't flagging him at all, which is another flag that the Chiefs didn't have any flags in that game at all. I think it's the first time since like 1970 or something like that. A team didn't have any penalties called on them at all. So not even like penalties accepted. No penalties called, I believe. So that's wild. And if you look at it, man, there's a few times he was giving Brian Branch some cheap shots. And Brian Branch is a guy, he usually, he's a safety, I think by trade, but he comes down and he plays in a nickel. So he was having to guard some of the receivers, and he was trying to get in on a run play sometimes. And it's a few occasions where Juju Smith-Schuster was like just like hitting them, like just straight, clipping them, it's like pushing them in the back, and nothing called. So obviously Brian Branch he took offense to that. So he's like, bro, y'all ain't gonna do nothing during the game. I'm gonna take it upon myself. I'm gonna handle it after the game, and he did.
Right. Yeah. Oh, he definitely did, man, and he got him back for sure, man. He got him back, and he got him back in the worst way because it's on. Because, Juju Smith-Schuster, he's like a social media guy. He's like TikTok guy. So he got him like on social media because now they're going to like show this picture. Man, this is a meme. This is a meme right here.
Oh, my goodness.
He's getting dragged. Like, he's getting dragged.
People are going to clip out the background. They're going to put him like on a beach chair. Like he chilling on the beach chair. They're going to be doing all kind of crazy stuff with it, man.
They're going to do all types of crazy stuff, man. But yeah, man, that pretty much wraps up flag on the play, man. We definitely got some more stuff, but we got to keep it short with the flags. I know a lot of people got some. I feel like we missed one last week.
Yeah, which one?
And it was a flag on the D tackle for the Chiefs.
Oh yeah, Chris Jones. Yeah.
Oh man. And his flag, just we got to move it along, but like his flag was bad because he literally was caught red-handed, where he just pretty much gave up on a play that gave the Jaguars a touchdown to take the lead for the win, and he was standing the whole time.
Yeah.
And then what makes it even a bigger flag was not even just him just giving up on the play. That's bad enough. I'm sure their coaches are going to point that out. But after the game, he talks about how the team needs to play better. Like he broke a lot of tackles. We got, like he made it about the team, but he was like, bro, you were standing, not doing nothing. Why are you talking about the team? Like, come on, bro.
Yeah, bro.
So definitely flag on a play on him. And I think that's the only one that I can remember that. Because usually sometimes sometimes we forget to get the flags.
Yeah. No, that was a good one. That was a good one. I think we had another honorable mention this week as well. The Tua stuff. But,
that's a big flag.
Yeah,
that should have actually that actually would have made the cut. I forgot about that one.
Tua stuff.
I'm glad you remember that.
Yeah, Tua was one, but I know that would be a prolonged conversation.
Oh man, so if you guys don't know, after the loss they had against the Chargers, Tua basically threw his teammates and coaches under the bus by talking about like players coming late to meetings and player meetings and this, that, and the third. It's like, at the end of the day, he's the quarterback. He's the leader of the team. He's a captain on the team. So that's a poor reflection on him if like his teammates are not living up to whatever standard that the team is set forth. Like you're supposed to be leading by example. And I'm not saying that he's not doing that, but like for whatever reason, the team ain't responding to you as the guy that's supposed to be leading the team. So just to keep it short, I mean, I know that, but that was that would have made the cut. But obviously, we only could pick two every week. But that was a big flag especially for Dolphins fans. Any Dolphins fans watching, man, that's a big flag on Tua. Like, it's one thing for Tua. I'm not even a big Tua guy, like on the field, as far as like him being like the guy at quarterback. But it's another thing, like, damn, like you're off the field, you're not even a good leader. Like,
exactly.
Got no room for error for me, man. Telesco, he lucked out and got Herbert, Justin Herbert, man, because Justin Herbert seems like it's hands down better player. And I'm not gonna lie, for anybody that some of y'all, I ain't gonna lie. Hey, I love the Raiders. I hate the Chargers. I hate the Chiefs. But Justin Herbert, he's a dog, man.
He's cold, man.
The plays that he's making, I was watching that game. I was like, oh, like it was a play where I think did he break a tackle, threw it for a touchdown? Was it on fourth? Oh, it was something crazy, man. Like he's making plays each and every week. Like he's putting that team on his back, man. And they got all types of injuries going on too with that offensive line, and they lost the rookie running back too.
Yeah, Marion. Yeah.
For I don't know.
And they lost Najee before that.
And Najee too. Yeah. Herbert's a dog, man. I know a lot of people are like, well, what has he done in the playoffs and this, that, and the third, but he's way better than what we have at quarterback.
Oh my goodness. No, yeah.
It's not even close. It's not even close. Tua someone said how Tua turned the ball over. Damn, bro.
Crazy.
Y'all clowning now. Tua stays in the CT vibe. That for always looks sleep. Damn, y'all going in on Tua. Browns coaching considering bringing someone off the practice squad to be number 2 QB was a flag. Yeah, that was a flag for sure.
That was a flag. Yeah, I think that was just BS though. I think it was BS. It was BS, but
no, I don't know. That was like, what was that gonna do? What was the purpose of that? Like there was no strategic advantage. Like what? Oh, like they're not going to game plan They're going to game plan for the starting quarterback, not for the backup quarterback.
Yeah.
Like no matter
Jim
what.
Gabriel trash. He was so bad. Oh my God, he was so bad, bro.
I think you know what happened. I think management, whoever was the reason why Shedeur got drafted to Browns, probably was like, "Hey, bro, we not doing that." Yeah. Like there was a message probably sent from up top, like because obviously he was a second quarterback. He was the backup quarterback for the Browns that week or last week. So, but that was weird, man. That's strange. Did you see that quote by Bruce Arians?
What did he say?
And he was just like, man, I gotta rewatch it again. But one of the things that he mentioned was like they have to like the Browns need to do a better job of protecting Shedeur. Because why is the media going up to Shedeur when he's like not even the starting quarterback and they're trying to get quotes out of him. They're trying to get like things out of him. Like the Browns need to do a better job of like protecting him because they're trying to create stuff. So I was like, oh, that's a good point. That's a good point because we don't really like it's kind of
like we ain't heard a word from Kenny Pickett.
Yeah.
We ain't heard nothing from Kenny Pickett all year, bro. So why are they asking Shedeur, a rookie quarterback at that, rookie third stringer? Like why is he getting quotes?
Yeah, no, definitely. My guy Smoke, man, with the super chat. He says, what's up? My guys like sub to both channels. Yeah, definitely, man. Hey, man, appreciate you coming through. Hope all is well. I know this Raiders season, you just like, I feel like you done, man. Like you're done with the season, man. It feels like Smoke.
This Raider season is like a Tim Brown autograph signing for Raider Smoke,
man. Man, but it is what it is, man. My guy, man. Appreciate you coming through and supporting the show. But let's move it along, man. We got notable quotables. It's where we play quotes that we find interesting and we get to talk about with y'all, man. So Severe, if you want to give the intro to that first quote.
Yeah, the first quote is this is like I think a day before we played the Titans. Tom Pelissero, he was asked questions about Geno Smith and just all the noise and everything surrounding him and the Raiders, and he gave some interesting answers. Wasn't necessarily say positive answers, but interesting.
So you said it was Tom Pelissero?
Tom Pelissero, yeah.
All right, here we go.
In Foxborough, where it was bumpy in the first half, but Geno stepped up and made a bunch of big time throws in the second half, to guys like, Trey Tucker and other players that, people I don't think the average fan has heard of. Not having Brock Bowers is a big deal. That's the straw that stirs the drink. He got banged up, and I think in the fourth quarter of that game, has played, several games, but wasn't himself, then misses last week's game, no sign he'll be back. When you lose your number one weapon, it's not a wide receiver per se, but Brock Bowers is essentially a wide receiver. He just plays a little bit different spot on the field. That does have a ripple effect on everyone else because, quite frankly, they're just not that talented outside of Bowers, at the receiving positions. Jacobe Myers is a really good, solid receiver. He's not getting targeted for whatever reason right now. Beyond that, you're relying on a bunch of young guys. Michael Mayer, their number 2 tight end, has also been out in recent weeks here. But a lot of this just boils down to Geno, whether it's decision-making or accuracy. He's just not playing like we've seen Geno at his best. The Raiders are paying him $40 million this year. They gave him a raise. There was no signing bonus in that deal, and he's not due, guaranteed money beyond this season. So absolutely, there's a scenario in which they could move on from Geno Smith. But I don't get any sense right now that they're thinking about, benching him, going to Kenny Pickett. I don't know that Kenny Pickett is necessarily an upgrade. He didn't have a camp to kind of get used to how they're doing things with the Raiders either.
Oh man. He made some good points that we know about, like Brock Bowers not being there, and obviously he's the best receiving. He's the number one option on the offense, and yeah, we all know that. But it still doesn't like excuse Geno Smith's play. But it was interesting that he said that they are not even close to like moving on from Geno, which was like
that was the interesting thing, and it was before the Titans game, so I think him winning against the Titans, I think that kind of was like, okay, now we got to win to get that bought 6 more games, baby. like what?
Bro,
like no, bro.
that interception he threw, what were you thinking? Like what was he thinking? What is he? And I was clowning. I was clowning on social media. I was like, bro, man, look inside Geno Smith's mind. It's like hold ball.
Yeah.
Let me throw it to the other team. Hold ball. Because he first of all, he holds the ball he has the Cowboys, back in the day, Hall of Fame offensive line. Like, what is he doing? First of all, and I think now the coaching staff knows that he's not making the right decisions. He's not making the right decisions. Meaning he's not understanding his mental clock is not speeding up, knowing that he doesn't have long to just look through all his progressions. He's not get reading the ball or checking it down. They're gonna have to call shorter plays for him. Anytime they call a long developing play and if nothing's open, there's a check down available. He's really slow to get to that check down. Even with the offensive line going through what they're going through, he's also part of getting the sacks too.
Yeah. I mean, on that particular throw, I think he had a guy, but Jeffrey Simmons was bearing down on him. And Jeffrey Simmons was a one-man wrecking crew, bro, in that game. So what he should have did there was just take the sack. But he tried to do was he tried to throw the ball. But it seemed like at the same time as he was trying to throw the ball, he was trying to brace for the hit as he threw the ball. And then that just made the throw off target. Where you should have just been like, you know what? Right here, I'm not going to risk having a turnover right here. I'm going to take the sack. I'm going to live to play another down. Instead of trying to, do the, you trying to make the hero ball play there and deliver the pass and nah, bro, just take the sack right there, man. Just take the sack right there. And he didn't do that. So, he got hit as he was throwing and the pass was off target and he got intercepted. It's just a bad decision, man. This is most of his interceptions are just not because he can't throw or not because he doesn't have a strong arm. It's just bad decision making. And that's just another one that was just a bad decision. And
that's what's hella concerning about Geno, because I'm like, how does that even? I don't know. It can get better, but we're talking about bad decision making with a guy that's been in the league for 10 years plus.
Yeah,
he's 35 years old. We're not talking about a young player. Oh yeah, it could get better. Yeah. I'm not. I don't know, man. It's. Like I said, I just want the offense to go through Genty, and then maybe slowly but surely that Geno can get his confidence up, and he can develop a rhythm back there.
Yeah,
but that's
it's the thing that makes it tough though, because what makes it tough is that we wanted to go through Genty, which is ideal, but it's we kind of gotta. It's a symbiotic relationship. You kind of gotta pass to loosen up the run, but you gotta run the ball to do play action, which helps you pass. Because we see against one of the worst pass defenses in the league. I think we averaged 2.1 yards per carry as a team. Genty was at 3.2 or something like that. So it's if they're just sitting on a run, it's gonna be hard to be productive in the run game, especially with our offensive line. So it's kind of like a catch-22 situation where, hey, you know what? We don't want Geno throwing, so we want to run the ball. But, if we have no threat on the outside, then, well, they're just going to sit on the run. So it's tough.
And it's not even now. It's not even about it's hard even to evaluate the Raiders receivers when he's playing so bad. He can't get him the ball. So now it's a matter of the defense is oh, okay, we don't really trust you. We don't trust your quarterback to take advantage of the matchups that we're going to give you with these receivers, because that's how bad Geno is. He's not making good decisions based off whatever he's seeing. And he's going to go up against a defense the Raiders, for them to even have a chance. And we're going to get into, obviously, later this week around the show, we'll get into the Raiders Chiefs game. But in order for them to have a chance, they're going to have to run the ball. Like they're gonna have to run the ball, and they cannot go down. They can't be in a situation where they're down, because you give Spagnuolo a lead, and the Chiefs this year they haven't really gotten pressure with their front four. It's been, you know, he likes to blitz, but they're not getting home pressuring with their front four. A lot of it is through blitz, but Spagnuolo is one of the best in the league, man, best in the business when it comes to like manufacturing blitzes, and you don't know where it's coming, and that right there is going to be like a nail in the coffin to a guy like Geno who's struggling to see what's going on. Like, it's like, bro, like
Stone Forsythe's out there,
man, that too. And he and how do you feel about this, man? Because I like, people have made some good points to me about like why like Charles Grant shouldn't be playing. Don't throw him into the fire because, like, you know, obviously he's not strong enough. He you know, he's not gonna, you know, you're gonna put him in a situation where it's a lose-lose situation. And then there's the other side where you're like, well, if Forsythe is gonna struggle, why don't you give snaps to a guy like Charles Grant, where you know there's gonna be growing pains, you know he's probably gonna struggle at times, but at least he'll know what it is to go against real NFL competition, which you really can't replicate during practice and the off season, and like, you know, in today's NFL where like all these like pads and all that, like, you know, all that stuff is like really limited, and you can't really replicate what it's going to look like in a game where the bullets are flying. At least he can have an idea of what that looks like, and then he can work on what he needs to work on based off what he did against real NFL competition. Like, I'm like, well, if Forsythe is going to continue to struggle, then like, man, just let the young guy struggle, and then like he could come back next year even better, because he's going to know what he needs to do to get better. Obviously, we all know that he needs to get stronger and all that type of stuff, but there's other things that his technique that needs to get better. Like, why let him get that experience? But, you know, some people just don't want to like ruin a player. That's like the biggest argument. They don't want to ruin his confidence, ruin his, you know, ruin the player by throwing him in the fire.
So I will say this, because like offensive line is different than quarterback. You know, like, you know, you think like when they take a lot of hits and they get beat up, you know, like that can speed up their internal clock, and that can kind of give them happy feet in the pocket, and, you know, it can mess with them psychologically. I don't think it's necessarily the same kind of situation with the offensive lineman. And I think, you know, but a perfect example, you know, and I don't want to be anecdotal, but look at Colton Miller. Colton Miller struggled mightily as a rookie. Now, part of it was because he was dealing with an injury, but part of it was just because he wasn't really strong enough to play left tackle in the NFL. But, you know, he went through those growing pains, and he learned from them. And he had Tom Cable as coach, so Charles Grant, low-key in the same situation. You got Brendan Carroll as coach, so we got bums coaching you. So like at this point, just let the dude get out there, right? Send some help his way, send a chip his way. You know, if we're running a lot of 12 personnel, we're gonna have a tight end next to him anyway. There's gonna be some additional help as well. So like, let him go through that. Let him get some game experience. Let him build some confidence. And as you said, like, sometimes you got to go through it to kind of know it. So you know, hey, I really struggle with speed rushers. Let me work on this technique. Or, you know, I really struggle with the bull rush, or people that had this particular move that gave me problems. So, you know, when I'm in practice, or, you know, I want to go over this so I can make sure I have this down next year. Like, it's good to, you know, when you seeing friendly competition in practice, it's a more controlled environment. And you can kind of, hey, you know what, take it at whatever pace you want to. But, you know, that doesn't necessarily prepare you for being out in the wild, right? It's only so much training you can do before we got to throw you out on a sales floor, before we got to throw you behind the wheel, or throw you, you know, in whatever real life setting you have to go through, because that's the best trainer a lot of times. It's good to get all this other stuff, but until you actually apply it in real world settings, you don't know. Like, everybody's worked a job where they've had training and they've been on a computer and they've done modules and all this stuff. But until you actually get in it, like, a lot of times you're like, man, all this stuff y'all was teaching me, like, all this stuff is BS. Like, it's stuff that ideally it should work, But a lot of times, like it's not always a one size fits all for everybody. And with his physical traits and abilities, he can learn some things about himself as a player, especially with his background as a wrestler. That already gives him kind of a better understanding of, an innate understanding of leverage and body position and all of that stuff that a normal football player doesn't necessarily always have because his background in wrestling. So he's used to being in these type of, these type of one-on-one like grappling type situations. Like he's used to that. He's done that. Now it's just taking that same principle and applying it to football, using football techniques and, under the rules of football. So I think he already has a little bit of a higher floor than a lot of these guys. So let him explore that. Like for us not to do it, Stone Forsythe offers us nothing at this. But he's not playing well now. Offers us nothing in the future. At least Charles Grant can offer you something in the future.
I think it's going to be a tragedy if the Raiders, let's say, they go like 4-13. Or they miss the play. In a losing season, they don't get Charles Grant on the field. They don't do that. They have like a Forsythe starting for most of the season or for however long until Cole Miller comes back. I think because Cole Miller I think is in a situation where is it a possibility he comes back? I don't know. They might shut it down because they found a broken bone right in another test that they had on him. Like it was at first it was initially a high ankle sprain and then they found there might have been a broken bone in the some other testing that they did. So he might be
high ankle sprain like 6 weeks by itself. So that with the broken bone, they may play it safe.
Yeah, out for the season. So I'm like, hey, like the Raiders they're gonna have a season where they're gonna miss the playoffs and they're gonna be struggling. It's gonna be like there's no excuse for you not to have him play. Like there's no excuse. But like I said, Pete Carroll is worried about trying to see if he could still, make a run. And I'm telling you, like them winning this game, they're like, oh yeah, this is where it starts. We're gonna believe. Like now, if they beat Kansas City next week, then I'm like, okay, head into the bye week, then I could see, all right, okay, like that. But if they get blown out by Kansas City, I mean, it's going to be a tough schedule after this too.
Yeah, it gets tougher. This was the easy part of the schedule, supposedly, or the winnable part.
Yeah, like with Colts obviously was a surprisingly tough. That's a tough game. But like Chicago, Tennessee, who else did they play during the outside?
Chargers? I think we thought we would at least it
would be a closer game.
Some people thought to win. Yeah, right. So that's like the Commanders. I think we all knew what was going to happen. We didn't think it was going to happen like that, but we all thought we was going to lose. But like a lot of people thought we would be like 2-1 after heading into week 3 versus Commanders. And we were 1-2, and then we got blown out. And then a lot of people had the Chicago game. I obviously penciled in as a win. We see how that went. And it only gets tougher from here. We ain't even played the Denver defensive line. Oh my God. They're on pace to break the all-time sack record in the season.
Oof, man, that defense is gonna be.
Plus, man.
And
then we got the Jags. The Jags are playing good football. The Giants are playing way better football. Like teams that we thought we would win. I think the Jags. A lot of people thought, hey, that's gonna be a guaranteed dub right there. That's more leaning more toward a loss. The Giants, a lot of people thought it would be a guaranteed dub. That's leaning more toward a loss. The Cowboys, with the offense, we'll see. We'll see because their defense is trash. So maybe we can, put up some points, score. Obviously, I think Genty's from the Dallas area, if I recall. So it might be like playing against his. He probably grew up a Cowboys fan. I wouldn't be surprised. So playing against his former favorite team, in Vegas, maybe he has a big game, but that's gonna be a tough game too.
Yeah, man. Real quick, man. My guy Raph in the building, man. Appreciate the super chat.
Raph.
He says, salute nation. Raph in the building. Great show, man. Appreciate you coming through, man. Supporting the show as always, man. But real quick before we moving along, just to go back to that original notable quotable, where they said like basically they're not close to even like moving from Geno Smith. Like I've kind of like been critical of different parts of the football team, like the wide receiver room. Are they all that great? You know, Chip Kelly at times, you know, just different parts of the team. But at the end of the day, when the quarterback is playing the way he is, it makes it harder for everybody else. There's less room for error. Like, the play call has to be perfect. Ashton Jeanty has to have like amazing game. The receivers have to be wide open. The receivers have to make a spectacular catch. The defense has to be great when the quarterback has turned the ball over, and they almost got away with it. They almost got away with it against the Bears. But when obviously they got that field goal block, no one was talking about really the field goal being blocked. Everybody was talking about like, man, Geno Smith, like, no one was, did you notice that? Like, no one was even talking about the field goal being blocked. And that would be like a big thing in a close game. Like, oh, the field goal go blocked. How could that happen? Man, we lost the game with the field goal being blocked. No one really talked about that. Everybody was talking about how bad Geno Smith played because the defense held their end of the bargain where they kind of kept the game close. But Geno Smith played so bad where it was just too tall of a mountain to overcome. Like, you know, and it just, a lot of all that stuff came back to haunt him. But I just feel like if Geno Smith can play better, maybe there might be a chance where we might see a better outcome with some of the, you know, the offense and but we'll see. We'll see what happens. But we got another notable quotable.
Yes.
We got another notable quotable. What's the next notable quotable?
Obviously, you know, we just got done talking about Geno Smith and his struggles. Has the Raiders looking at quarterbacks. And we have one of the greatest to ever do it to kind of talk about how he would like to see the quarterback position be evaluated.
Yeah, ways I do. And I think the proof of that too is you watch some of these guys that you would have said had, you know, rough early stages of their careers, the Sam Darnolds and the Baker Mayfields, and the success that they're now having, you know, in their second and third stop after they've had a chance to get some experience and maybe be in some more capable situations. At the end of the day, I really have kind of developed a formula just based on observation, you know, for a lot of these young quarterbacks in finding success in the NFL. And first and foremost, I think a lot of these guys need about 50 high-level starts before you're going to know what you have in a quarterback. And that includes college and then at their time in the NFL. In other words, if you go draft a guy who has all this upside potential, but he only had 15 to 20 starts in college, well, guess what? You're going to have to sit around and wait, you know, 2.5, 3 seasons before you can really develop this guy. He needs those 50 high-level starts. He needs a solid veteran backup quarterback in the room with him that's going to help guide him, teach him how to be a pro, teach him about preparation. He's going to need to be in an offense that fits his skill set or can be built to his skill set. You're going to need to build the team around him. I saw a great quote from Liam Cohen down in Jacksonville the other day, just talking about a lot of the success for these young QBs is about timing and circumstance early on in their career. And that is absolutely right. Now, some guys are going to develop a little bit faster than others. Some guys are just going to be in better situations. You know, QB's best friend, great defense, great run game, right? If your team doesn't have that, you're just putting more pressure on this kid. So at the end of the day, that's really the formula. And now you just need a patient organization, patient fan base in order to get that QB to that level that you want him to be at. Ways I do.
Man, he killed it, bro. He broke it down perfectly. And I think like what he said was bro, like I remember when I was thinking about what he was saying, I was thinking about like Anthony Richardson and how like he literally had like 1 year of starting and he gets drafted, and a lot of people were like excited about him because of his, you know, his traits, his strong arm, his athletic ability, size at the quarterback position. And you know, he didn't have a whole lot of experience. He didn't have a whole lot of starts. So it's kind of like when you start thinking about it, like from that perspective, and he's not the first quarterback to not have a lot of experience and not, you know, play well right off the gate. But automatically I was just thinking about like, man, like what he's saying is 100% true, 100% facts. But it makes you think like, are you looking at QBs right now? Because I know that, like, are you looking at QBs in college and looking at them from that perspective that have a lot of experience starting?
I haven't started deep diving QBs. I checked out a few games this past weekend, but I haven't really started deep diving. Obviously, I have my guys I liked early on, but I haven't really, dove into the process like I have in previous years. But like a lot of what Drew Brees says, there is a lot of truth to it, especially like having a veteran backup, having an offensive system that kind of that's kind of fits your skill set and all that stuff. You would think that if a team was drafting you, that they would either have a system that fits you or be willing to implement one. Unfortunately, that's not always the case with some of these young quarterbacks. But I think the 50 start thing, obviously, like the one hit wonder, those guys usually don't like turn out well. Guys that only have 1 year of starting experience, that's not we see the Giant. I think not Johnny Manziel, but it was Mark Sanchez kind of flamed out. We see Anthony Richardson, same deal. So we see these guys that don't have the longer careers. I think I forgot the amount of games that people say like a guy need to play in college for them to end up being successful in the NFL. But like not all guys get that. Not all guys are going to get 50 games. Is a lot of games. That is a lot of games. And I think Drew Brees in that situation, he's speaking from a personal level, because I think it took him like a year or two in the NFL for him to really start getting it, and then once he started like kind of getting it together, that's when the light bulb went on. And by that time, the Chargers had already drafted Eli Manning and then traded Eli Manning for Phillip Rivers, and then the rest was kind of history at that point. So I don't think that's a one size fits all thing, but there is a true truth to that, and I think they looked at the numbers where like a quarterback needs X amount of starts in college, and that's much more conducive to success in the NFL.
My guy Mark he breaks it down from like a snap standpoint, where he says like he has a system where like if he checks if each quarterback has played like 1,000 snaps, like that's the number. Like if they played at least 1,000 snaps, then it translates better to success in the NFL. And there's only been a few exceptions. I think like one of the exceptions, your guy CJ Stroud was a guy that didn't have like 1,000 snaps. But to Drew Brees' point though, like he even said like if he said that they have to have at least 50 starts. So if he doesn't get that like in college, then obviously you're going to also have to like incorporate that in the NFL, and then also take that into account when you develop him, because he didn't have that much starts coming in. So you got to use that as a way to develop him. And then he kind of outlined it kind of right. Like he was like, hey, if you got a young player coming in with the lack of experience, you got to get a veteran in there. You also got to put a system around them. You got to run the football. You got to play good defense. And I'm like, with Geno Smith, just to bring it back full circle, it's like the Raiders right now are doing all this to protect him from making a terrible decision. And they could have easily had a young quarterback back there. Man. Yeah. I'm just saying, I got to just throw that in there, because
that's fact.
You would think a guy at 10 plus years in the NFL like would be able to know like, hey, be a good decision maker, but it is what it is, man. But we appreciate everybody coming through. Make sure to clock in, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell. But yeah, man, we're definitely gonna be looking at quarterbacks.
Be nice to have Spencer Rattler here right now, man.
Bro, and it's funny too, because I literally was talking about this earlier, and I posted out. I said it was I think someone was talking about how the 2024 draft class, they're kind of playing well overall in their second year. So obviously the first 6 quarterbacks, maybe there might be an incomplete on a guy like maybe JJ McCarthy because he's gotten hurt. But Bo Nix has won some games early. He's like their quarterback. Michael Penix is winning games out there in Atlanta. He's their starting quarterback. Caleb Williams look like he's developing under Ben Johnson and the Bears. Obviously, we all know who Jaden Daniels. He kind of was the guy that led the way in that draft class. And even a Spencer Rattler, he looked like he's playing solid football out there for the Saints. And he was drafted in the 5th round. And, obviously, your favorite linebacker was drafted instead, Eichenberg. We all know how he's a game-changing linebacker for the Raiders. They was like, we have to draft a linebacker instead of getting a quarterback. Like AOC and Minshew are the answer at quarterback. And I made a comment. I'm like, hey, like Telesco, the way he addressed the quarterback position was almost criminal. Like he literally he signed Minshew to a contract and did not address, like he did not even add a quarterback from the draft at all. At all. Like it's one thing to be like, all right, no one expected the Falcons to trade up and get, or to not trade up, to draft Michael Penix because they just signed Kirk Cousins to that big contract. No one expected that. But I thought it was interesting because I put up a clip, was when Telesco spoke to, shout out to 33rd Team Media. And he was like, they asked him about like, hey, if Michael Penix was there at 13, was he a guy that you were considering taking? And he said no. And I was like, oh, like for him to first of all say that with a straight face. Idiot, and I think at the time, to be given benefit of doubt, I think he felt like that was a safe answer. Because all his answers all like reflected good for him. Like, because obviously he went with Brock Bowers, and Brock Bowers is a great player in his own right. Okay. And then he said the quarterback they were considering possibly was a Bo Nix. Yeah. And then Bo Nix obviously at the time was like one of the candidates for rookie. Well. Yeah, playing real well, one of the candidates for rookie of the year. But Michael Penix like didn't start playing until like what, later in the season? Like so. Yeah. Like when he said no, and then I'm seeing Michael Penix playing well for the Falcons, or at least like
good game. His last game.
Had a good game, and he's developing with them, and obviously the best player is their running back, man.
Bijan is crazy.
Bijan, he's breaking out. Like he's looking like one of the best running backs in the NFL.
He's like crazy as a receiver too, bro. That's what's crazy. Like his as a receiver. Because that's what I tell man. When Bijan was drafted, scouts were saying if Bijan Robinson wasn't a running back at all, if he was just a slot receiver, he'd still be a 3rd or 4th round pick. If he was just that. So that's the kind of level, that's the level of receiver he was. Just his running routes, like he's that kind of guy. So you add the running ability as well, and it's like, yo, man, like he's a really good player, man. Really, really good player. So, but the fact that it's despicable, man. Like that was just like it was criminal for you not to, like, you had a super talented quarterback sitting right there. He's a little on the shorter side, but guess what? The other guy you signed as a free agent was on the shorter side too. So he's strong arm, one of the best arms in that entire draft class. Mobile, played in 2 big conferences, was a starter for 2 big conferences, played in the SEC with no weapons. So you kind of see, hey, you know what? He's a guy that can get it done when he doesn't have the supreme talent around him. Dealt with some adversity, all of that stuff. And you to pass on him for a 2-down linebacker that can't even get on the field right now outside of special teams and maybe a handful of defensive snaps when the game is basically, over with, and you're not worried about the other team scoring. It's like, it was disgusting, man. I said at the time it was disgusting. And it made no sense back then. It makes even less sense now reflecting on it. So, and that's why Tom Telesco would never be a GM in the NFL again. And he kind of did it to himself.
Well, I'm in the mindset of like, if you don't have a quarterback, if you haven't found your quarterback, you address that position as much as you can in order to find the answer, because it's the most important position on a football field. Until you found that franchise guy, like you have to like draft a guy like AOC. We seen him out there. We're like, like he's not that type of guy. Like, so they could have easily added a guy in that room, which they should have, because like you got a backup quarterback, a career backup who you gave a contract to, and you're expecting him to compete for a starting job with an AOC who, from a talent perspective, his ceiling is low. He projects to be a backup quarterback. So like, why don't you add another guy to that room where there's, and people were like, oh, and as far as Michael Penix too, Because I thought that was like, man, if Michael Penix was there, come on, that's easy. You got to make that pick. And some people are arguing like, oh, we got Brock Bowers. We got Brock Bowers. We got Brock Bowers. He's a great player. So I was like, you know what? Like, this is a good question. Would you rather have a good QB or a great tight end, which is Brock Bowers? I don't like a generational tight end. Would you rather have a good QB or a great tight end? And I posed that question. Yeah, go ahead.
I'd rather have a good QB, man. Like we're going through it right now. You know, we have a great tight end. It's only so much he can do. Man. And he can win his individual matchup every single time and be wide as hell open. But if you got a quarterback that's throwing interceptions or making bad decisions, it don't matter. It does not matter.
So I got a poll here. I kind of put up earlier. Would you rather have a great tight end or a good QB? Raider Nation, okay. I respected it here. But I was talking to some people that didn't agree with me, but they were like 38% said Brock Bowers, and then we got some sense over here, man. That's what I respect. People pulling up to the show, the people to watch the show, man. 50-50 show, night crew. 62% rather have a good QB. And yeah, man, we're on the same page, man, because the quarterback position impacts the game way more than a tight end. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
And look, we have a generational tight end, but guess how many games we're winning? Guess how many games the Raiders are winning?
Yeah.
4 games last year. I know Brock is hurt this year, but hey, look, I don't think he would have impacted the win-loss record if Geno Smith is going to throw 3 picks every game. So if I had to choose between a good QB and great tight end, it's going to be a good QB all day, every day. Now, if I already had a good QB and you're telling me to choose between another QB and a great tight end, then of course I'll take the great tight end because we already have a good QB. But if we don't have a quarterback, if the Raiders don't have a quarterback, then they have to address that position because it just impacts wins and losses a lot bigger than a great tight end.
Yeah.
But yeah, man. Let's see what people in the chat, man. Let's see what this chat is going crazy. I'll take Penix. Okay. I'm just gonna have to do one of these for some reason, man. I don't know why that sounded.
First of all,
I'm just gonna have to
why you do my dog like that, man?
Francis, man. He's just I'm sorry, bro. I'm gonna have to do that too. Coach says good QB. Okay.
Yeah, man. Coach knows what's up.
David just came through and just said Baker's is a leader. Baker Mayfield. Oh yeah, man. Baker Mayfield. Whew. That boy, he might. I think we were talking about it earlier. He might be front runner for MVP. Like he might be one of the guys.
I think he has to be right now.
He's winning close games. He's leading the team with injuries. Like
it's him. It's him. It's right now. It's probably like 3-way race. It's probably him, Jonathan Taylor, and if the Falcons keep winning, Bijan gonna put himself in that conversation too. But right now, quarterback is the most important position, so it had to be Baker.
According to Telesco, like he wouldn't have drafted Penix.
Yeah.
So that would have been like,
man.
Oh man. I'm saying, man, like I said, the way Telesco addressed the QB position was criminal, bro. That was his big. Like he was able to get a Brock Bowers, a JPJ, and Glaze. I gotta give him, credit for that. But at the same time, like what were you waiting for? Like what were you? You gotta throw talent in the room to figure out who's the guy. Because sometimes it can be a Brock Purdy, a seventh rounder. You know what I mean? It could be a guy like that, and they made it work. Sometimes it's like people are they're trying to wait for the perfect moment. Like, oh, we have to have a first round pick and it has to be in the top 5 and we got to trade it. Like, nah, like you gotta find talented guys and develop them and see. Sometimes they're a Tom Brady. I know Tom Brady's a big exception to the rule, but look, Derek Carr was a 9-year starter at quarterback and they drafted him in the second round. He wasn't a top 5 pick. He wasn't a top 3 pick. So
Exactly.
that's a great that's a perfect example of how it can work, where you can find a guy later in the draft. And I'm not saying that now, if the Raiders have an opportunity to draft a guy early, yeah, for sure. But I don't know, some people's, like, I'm hearing people responding like and saying like, oh, well, we don't have a lot of talent on the roster and this, that, and the third. Like, now if they pass on a quarterback, then it's like, okay, then we get to criticize the team if they pass. Like, what do you? But what happens if they're like, what happens if they're going to be picking in top 15, top 10?
Yeah.
Like, are you going to excuse it again? Like, nah, it doesn't matter. Yeah. They could still address the quarterback position in the later rounds. They could, or in the second round, or trade up into the first.
Exactly. Like the Giants just did. Well, they took Abdul Carter, traded back into the first, and got Jackson Dart. Like, that's what pissed me off. Like, we had opportunities to take guys that had talent, right? That had supreme talent. Even if they don't turn out to be anything, you rather take a chance on those guys, especially with later round picks. We talked about Spencer Rattler. Like, was Tommy Eichenberg that valuable, that high on your draft board, where you pass on a quarterback that at one point was considered a top 10 pick, who was considered to have one of the best arms in all of college football, with mobility playing in the SEC? Like, Tommy Eichenberg was that valuable to pass? Like, it made no sense. Like, Joe Milton, like, take a 6th round pick flyer on that guy. Like, why not? You see a guy with that kind of build, that kind of arm strength, that kind of mobility. See if you get him in your system. If you trust your coaches, see if your coaches can coach him up and turn him into anything. And if you can't, wow, how often does 6th round picks make the team anyway? So take a chance on a guy with that kind of physical talent at the most important position. Like, these are swings we should be taking, and we're not taking them consistently. And it just, Tom Telesco wasn't, and it just makes no sense.
Nah, facts. And that's a good point, Coach. He says Dart, late 1st round pick. I wasn't as big a high on Dart coming out. I didn't think he was gonna be this good, but he's I know Severe, that's your guy. Like,
I didn't think he'd be this guy. Look, I didn't think he'd be this good. I ain't gonna say that. Like, not his first year. I thought he'd be really good, but I didn't think he'd be this good coming out the gate.
Like, he looks good, man. He looks good, man. It is. But that's what I mean, though. Like, sometimes you don't know how fast a quarterback is gonna develop. You don't know who's gonna take the coaching, and you don't know who's gonna. But that quarterback position is so important when you don't have that guy in the room, or you haven't like labeled the guy as a franchise guy. Then you got to keep addressing that position until you can find someone that can possibly become that. And for whatever reason, the Raiders felt like, oh, we'll just go with AOC and Minshew. We'll just go with Geno and AOC. And to be fair, I felt like everybody, when Geno got traded, they were like, oh, okay, well, at least he's a solid, like, bridge QB. But I was in the room, this too. I was like, we still need to draft. We still need to get a young guy.
Yeah, bro. We still should have. At least to have somebody like, hey, like, even if the guy turns out, because there's always the opportunity that Geno's bad, but even if Geno's good, you still have. He's 35 years old. You still have another young guy waiting in the wings. And if that guy shows something, he gets in a game where Geno gets hurt or he dazzles in preseason, that's a trade chip right there. You could turn into some more resources. So you still want to have that pipeline, because once your other guy goes down or he leaves, or, it's a contract dispute, anything like that can happen. You want to have a young guy kind of waiting there in the wing. So sometimes your team is only as good as your backup quarterback, and you preferably want to have a guy, either have a young starter or a young backup.
Yeah, no, I agree. I don't know why, like, people are like debating this and being like, oh, well, it's not a big deal. Like, the Raiders, like, nah, it is a big deal. It is a big deal. The way the Raiders address the quarterback position, we're literally seeing the results of it from the last few years. Is that they look for these band-aids in the free agency and be like, oh, we're good. No, we need to go into the draft as well and add more talent from there as well. Cam Miller is not going to cut it. Cam Miller in the 6th round is not going to cut it. FCS QB is not going to cut it. Like, but to be fair, this regime is different from the previous regime. I thought Telesco, I thought that was like the biggest, like, what are you doing? Like, even, like, we're not talking about it, but Joe Milton was drafted in the 6th round, and he played well for the Patriots, but they drafted a QB number 1 overall in Drake May, who's balling out this season. But they drafted him, and man, that's good. It's good business when you can draft a quarterback, develop him, and then flip him for a pick because I think they traded him for like a 5th round pick. I think they traded him for
and then they traded him for more than what they got him for. I know that's right.
They drafted a Joe Milton in the 6th, and then they traded him for at least like a 5th round pick. I think to the Dallas Cowboys, who the Raiders were in on a trade. They were, like, that was one of the teams that was talking to the Patriots to trade for Joe Milton was the Raiders this offseason. So, just another, like, what are we doing? And I know a lot of people are like, oh, why don't the Raiders go after Shedeur? Like, why don't we go after Shedeur? But, like, they're not going to go after Shedeur, not because I don't want them to go after Shedeur. It's because they passed on him, like,
7 times.
7 times. 7 times, and then you're gonna trade a draft pick for him? Like, when you could have drafted him in the 4th or the 5th when he was there? Yeah, man, that's just not gonna happen. I know Shedeur should have been. He should have. And imagine that. Now that it would have been real pressure on Geno.
Oh, for sure.
Because the fans would have been asking for Shedeur. Not a lot of people would have been like, "Oh, let Shedeur come on the." Right now, there's really no pressure. Kenny Pickett is not pressure. Kenny Pickett is like, everybody knows Kenny Pickett is trash. Like, he's not a quarterback where there's people have high expectations for. The only people that are calling for Kenny Pickett is like the people that are tired of Geno. And we're all tired of Geno. We're just
exactly at this point.
At this point, right?
But I think that's what it is. And that's we talk about it before. And that's why I keep saying, man, Pete Carroll, with this favoritism stuff, he doesn't want any real competition for Geno. Like, Shedeur Sanders presents a legitimate threat, if not, from his play on the field, but from, if nothing else, pressure from the fan base, and I'm sure pressure from ownership and Mark Davis, where it's like, we drafted this Shedeur kid, any Deion's son, like, why ain't he playing? Like Chip doesn't want that kind of pressure on Geno because he doesn't want anybody to be a threat to Geno, and he doesn't want to have to make that decision to say no or to make a decision to have to bench Geno. So that's why we're drafting a Cam Miller out of North Dakota State instead of a legit. That's why we're not getting a legit backup quarterback.
I don't care about that shit too, man. I don't care. I understand what you're saying, and I can agree with that to a certain extent. But, like, I don't care about that. Like, I don't care about other people's feelings. I feel like Derek Carr probably played his best ball when there was someone drafted. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like,
when you had Mariota.
When he had Mariota, like, I feel like that brings the competition, right? What does Pete Carroll preach? Competition, right? Competition brings out the best out of people, right? So getting a young guy in there probably would get the best out of Geno because he knows he has to be on his A game. But they went a different route. They're super sensitive. The way they treat Geno is completely different how they treat the team. And this is a trend that has followed Pete Carroll from his days in Seattle to the Raiders, where he treated Russell Wilson differently than everybody else, which probably led to, like, that Seattle team kind of like losing trust and belief in a Pete Carroll, who we all know had, like, that terrible call at the end of that game where they didn't hand the ball off, and that it's well documented, and it was, the rest is history. It was downhill after that. But yeah, we'll see how it shakes out. We'll see what happens this week. We still got one more thing before we head out, man. We got a what's real, what's not. This is where we say statement. And shout out to RNJ Podcast. I think he was kind of saying the same thing that you were saying. I think they didn't get Shedeur to basically give Geno a fair shake at starter. Didn't want the drama if he threw, let's say, 10 picks. He threw 10. We would be calling for 12. Yeah, facts.
Thanks. I mean, yeah. I mean, no, it's you. Obviously, you don't want to say calling for 12 in the black neighborhood, but yeah, but, they will be calling for Shedeur Sanders for sure, for sure. But
that's funny, man.
But that's facts though. He picks and chooses, man. So that's why instead of drafting a guy like Shedeur Sanders, you trade the guy that's all about competition. Trades for a quarterback, as I said before, who rather than compete for a job in Pittsburgh, has to be traded. Weak. So, but hey, it is what it is, man. But what's real, what's not? Pharaoh kind of set it up. We say a statement, and you guys let us know whether that statement is real or whether that statement is not. And there has been a lot of trade speculation going on. Obviously, chief among that, with some people, has been Max Crosby. But we're taking a little bit of different direction. There's a player that requested a trade early this offseason, or late in the offseason, right before the beginning of the season, rather. And their trade request was denied. Mm-hmm. But recently, his play has not been up to his normal level. I think he's quiet quitting personally. I personally think he's quiet quitting. But I also think, he's just not being utilized properly. So my question to you guys, or my statement is, Jacobe Myers will be moved at the deadline. So one more time. Jacobe Myers will be moved at the deadline. Pharaoh already chiming in. Pharaoh says it's real. What y'all think in the chat?
I say it's real. I say it's real because the Raiders already made their decision. When they drafted Jack Besh, they literally essentially drafted his replacement, and then they're playing this hard ball with the contract negotiations. So I don't know what contract. I don't know if they've offered a number. They threw out a number to Jacoby and it was disrespectful, or they didn't. They haven't even gotten to that point. But either way, it got to a point where Jacobe Myers requested for a trade, and it was obviously denied. And now we're 6-7 games into the season. They're not offering a contract. Mm-hmm. And if they're going to let him hit the open market, most likely he's gone. For the most part, 90% of the time, if a team lets a player hit the market,
he's gone.
They're not coming back for a lot of different reasons. The player probably wants to move on because he probably feels disrespectful. He doesn't feel like that team believes in him, whatever the case may be. They're gone. So if Jacobe Myers is essentially gone, no matter what, then it makes sense to move him. Get something for him. Get a draft pick. It makes sense to get some type of compensation for him to leave, and they can get I think I'd be happy with a 4th rounder. You know what I mean? But if it's a 5th, it is what it is. It's better than him walking. It's better than him just going and signing somewhere and the Raiders don't get anything. Maybe they can get compensatory pick, but usually that's what? At the earliest, a 4th or 5th?
The earliest you can get is a 3rd. It depends on what you do in free agency and all that stuff.
So it's not a guarantee.
No, it's not always a guarantee, no. Because there's other factors they go into it.
And guess who's looking for a wide receiver? There are rumors now saying that the Steelers are looking to add another receiver. And Jacobe Myers, I feel like he'll fit
A-Rod? A-Rod. Oh yeah, he fit in perfectly.
He would fit in perfectly. And this is perfect timing, and I feel like it's a perfect situation. And hopefully they can hammer out a deal. And I think Jacobe Myers going to the Steelers makes sense. So I think it's real. To me, it's real. What's your take on it?
So basically you're saying what would make the most sense for the Raiders to do essentially is, was Jacoby basically about to hit free agency this offseason, and basically no guarantees he'll be back. The logical move would be to trade him, right? So yeah, obviously they're not going to do it. It's just the Raiders. They're going to hold on to Jacoby, not trade him, and let him walk in free agency. That's what's going to happen, and he will wallow and squire, until the end of the season, and probably end up catching passes from both Kenny Pickett and Geno Smith at some point this year, because Geno Smith I don't know if he'll be able to get it together.
People in the chat are kind of, it's like I think we get AJ Brown in a trade. I don't know. Are the Raiders?
I know AJ Brown. Nah. I know he's not happy with Philadelphia, but I doubt if we get him. Because
if he's not happy with Philadelphia, what do you think he's going to bring to the Raiders? Ooh.
Exactly. Like Jacoby ain't getting no passes. Like you think and that's the thing. Howie Roseman is in a complete different situation. But the last GM that traded AJ Brown, it didn't turn out too well for him. So
right.
You don't want to be the guy that trades AJ Brown.
Rams will trade for him. I feel like they're good.
They got Puka though. They got Puka already. They kind of did the same
and Devontae Adams. Like
and they got Devontae. Yeah.
Devontae, like I feel like unless they're the
Niners,
there's some injuries that we don't know about. The Niners could be a possibility. I would rather him not go to the Niners, just personally. But if the Niners are offering a third or a fourth, and I'm gonna be like, hey, I think this might be a good time to make the deal. Like, because at this point, like, they already made their decision. Like, he's not coming back. They're not gonna give him a contract. I think he's the perfect candidate. I know I've been talking about, Jacoby and Max Crosby. I've thrown Max in there, but the likelihood of Max happening is probably not as high compared to Jacobe Myers. And like, I feel like for a Max situation to happen, it would probably happen after the season.
Yeah.
And depending on how this season goes, like if let's say they don't win, they don't win a game. They don't win a game, and then after the season, they probably get together with Max's representatives and they like, it's time to make that move. But and people have been telling me like, oh, Max contract is not tradable. And people hit me up and like, hey, there's gonna be dead cap hits for the Raiders. Like there's gonna be how is there gonna be a dead cap hit for the Raiders if he gets traded?
Max, it's still because you can still get dead cap hit because it depends on like how the guaranteed money works in the deal. So like if you depending on how you paid out the guaranteed money on the contract, it can cause a dead cap hit. So it'll be a dead cap because that was one of the issues with the Broncos with Russell Wilson. That's why they couldn't really trade him either. So it could be a dead cap hit, but sometimes the team will assume some of that, if they're taking them. But it depends on what kind of conversation. That's kind of be some haggling going on right there with the conversation. Depends on like how much of that they're willing to take on. So
yeah, Max getting traded is for sure like an extreme scenario. But I'm just keeping it real. Like if they're gonna go for,
I don't think they do.
His season gonna be tough. But if it's like a true rebuild, and like they've decided on what a guy like Pete Carroll, like let's say if they move on from Pete Carroll, and I don't know, that's a whole different scenario. I've been talking about that like for the last few shows, but LS, man, all I gotta say, man,
tell them to bring me my money.
Because you made a guarantee earlier this season about Jacobe Myers, man. You made a guarantee. It's the season ain't over. Jacoby's still on the team. I'm just letting you know, man. Once that trade is official, that means that he's not going to get his numbers with the Raiders. He's not going to get his numbers. But like Severe said, like we really can't bet on the team to make any sensible move right now until they show that they can make a sensible move. But I will say, look, Spytek, he didn't really make huge investments in free agency. That contract with Geno Smith was smart. The contract for Max was smart. The contract for Colton Miller was good. Now his draft class, it's kind of hard because like, and it's like, I feel like this is probably common, but like the coaching staff is kind of undermining their development a little bit. Like, come on, man. Like, especially if like, let's say if they lose against the Chiefs, Like you need to put come on.
Yeah,
after the bye. Yeah, I'm throwing in the if, but you already know where I'm at with this. You know what I'm saying? So I'm saying if. You know, I'm a little hope there. I threw a little hope in there. I just signed a little positivity.
Hey, where are we at right now? We're about a little more than 2 hours. Come back to this on Thursday. see if we're talking about if on Thursday.
Jacoby been done. He been making business decisions, aka 2 and 4. Yeah, his blocking has been terrible.
Hey, bro, I'll be making look. The Raiders made a business decision this offseason. Jacoby is like, okay, this is what y'all want to do. I'm gonna make this business decision too. We gonna see. Yeah.
Oh, that's what we doing now. Oh, he's changing up the rules, man. So he changing up. He says Jacoby going to the Steelers might still see him with that 1,200 yards. That's
he
funny.
definitely for sure go finish with 1,200. He go to the Steelers office. He can get for sure getting 1,200. I mean,
it's a possibility.
You go to a team with a real quarterback, he's gonna kill. That's saying like,
yeah.
Bro, the Raiders is just the Raiders is disgusting, man.
Yeah, they didn't want to pay him, but he's replaceable though, man. He's replaceable, man. Like Jacoby's not like all that, bro. Like I'm gonna be honest with you. Like I don't think he's a bad player. I'm not saying he's a bad player, and I feel like he deserves to get paid because he's played well enough where you'd be like, hey, you know what? He deserves another contract. But at the same time, I don't look at him as a game changer. I don't look at him as a dynamic player. Like I'm not gonna lie, like Trey Tucker, low key Trey Tucker's been serving, but to be fair though, they've been.
All the attention is on Jacoby.
Yeah, a little bit, but it's just Trey Tucker. I'm trying to like him, but it's just his size. It's like,
yeah. No, I mean, like he's been good. I mean, I don't want to take like
playing well. It's just his size. It's his size.
He's getting opportunities, taking advantage of them. So like that's like keep doing that. But like like a part of that is because a lot of teams are just focused on Jacoby.
We'll see how that whole situation shakes out, man. We appreciate everybody coming through. Make sure to clock in at this point, clock out, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell. We're going live on both our channels, so obviously it's your first time joining us. Definitely subscribe to both. Hit the like button, like we like to say, clock in. This point, clock out, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell. Severe, let the people know where they can find you, what to look forward to, all that good stuff.
You guys know what it is, man. The Severe Raider here on YouTube, Snapchat, TikTok, IG, X. Everywhere, all those social media, Severe Raider, man. Tap in with your boy. I'm rocking out Sundays and Wednesdays with my guy 805 and Chris will protect the shield in the Raider War Room. And then Tuesdays and Thursdays, man, my boy Pharaoh with the 50-50 show and Around the Shield. Almost so close to 1,500, man. Like, every time I get real close, then I'm gonna say something about Genty or I say something about another player they like, and I get like 5 unsubs, bro. So I'm pissing people off, man. I've been hovering around 1,500 for like I don't know how long, man. So, but once I get 1,500, I'm gonna start a Monday night live. Probably a little bit different, probably a little more freestyling, but it'll be fun, man. Super interactive, man. So, but it's gonna take 1,500, man. So, y'all gonna be sensitive and unsubscribe, man. Just do it now. Just do it now, so I know where I'm at. So I know what I need.
Hey man, everybody watching, man, if y'all have subscribed to Severe, get my guy to 1,500. Head over to his channel, hit that subscribe button if you haven't subscribed. Coach says he's replaceable, but will the Raider replace Raiders? Jack Best is supposed to be that guy, so they need to start like incorporating him offense to see what they have in Jack Best.
Jack Best the guy Gino was targeting when he got picked?
Hey, what's your opinion on Jordan Tyson, wide receiver from Arizona State?
Yeah, he cold. He's the wide receiver one this class. Yeah, he wide receiver one for sure this class.
Hey, there's some receivers coming out.
But I got it's two guys next year too. That's two guys. Tate from Ohio State is cold too. Tate from
Carnell,
Ohio. So
isn't he coming out? Carnell,
he should be coming out. Yeah, Carnell Tate should be coming out. I think the guys from USC, Lemon, I think it's Malachi Lemon. I think he's coming out too. He's cold. They got 2 over at USC.
But the two like game changers, yeah. But they're probably gonna go. They're probably gonna go like in the top 10, top 5, top 10, top 5 for sure.
You know, let Pete Carroll be here next year, and we'll be right
there, man. Perry, man, you always be clowning, man. Come on, man. But I'll give you this one.
Look, my guy JR. My guy JR be trying to spark the conversation, man.
If JR is like, if Michael B. Jordan acted in the movie as Raiders QB, that movie would be so overrated.
He be trying to spark the conversation, man. If I get the Monday thing going, we might do some movie stuff, man. I'll probably invite Pharaoh on when
we gotta do it. We gotta do it for sure. Yeah, we gonna do it. They want me to throw him on the ball when he's open. Yeah, man. It's Gino's struggling though. That's what I'm saying. Like it's kind of hard to like talk about how other positions are playing on offense when like the quarterback play is like the way it's playing. So hopefully, Gino gets his act together, but I don't know, man. It's for a guy like has he hit his like ceiling? Like it's just like meaning that like not to say that he like I'm just saying like is it downhill from now? Like because his decision making right now is so bad. But I don't know if that's gonna improve.
I can see why. I don't think it's gonna improve next week. I can see why they kind of want to get to the bye week and kind of see what he does after that. that way it gives them a little bit more time with Kenny Pickett, who wasn't here in the offseason, so it gives a little bit more time to get comfortable in the offense. It also gives Gino essentially 2 weeks to kind of sit down, refocus, recalibrate, kind of see where he's headed this season, and hopefully kind of change directions. If not, I think we can see Kenny Pickett on the field sooner rather than later. And to Jacoby, to his point, like that's probably why he's so upset, is because like, bro, this is my contract year. Like I need to eat, I need to produce, and you got this dude out here like chucking a rock like Uncle Rico from Napoleon Dynamite. How am I going to produce with this at quarterback? So I'm sure he's super frustrated. Like, bro, y'all did me. Like, y'all did me. Y'all did me dirty.
Yeah. So he's probably like trade me already. Perry says, real question, are you guys high before we head out? Are you guys high on the Bama Kimmy Ty Simpson? I believe his name. I like him, bro.
I like him. Oh, yeah,
I like him. And then the thing is, he's probably he might. I don't know who's gonna opt in for the draft. Some of these guys might go back to school, so he might end up going early too.
Yeah.
If he continues to play the way he's playing, he might be a Heisman candidate too as well.
Well, look.
When I seen him play, I was like, when I watch him play, I'm like, that looks like a Brady QB.
Yeah.
For whatever reason, he just looks like this.
For whatever reason. Looks but look, that goes against the Drew Brees, Marcus Johnson. That goes against he not gonna have that.
Oh, the starts.
Yeah, he ain't gonna have the snaps.
Yeah, because it's his first year starting too.
Because Jalen Monroe was a starter, so.
I mean, you know what? Who are longtime starters? I guess old boy from
Carson Beck, low key.
Carson Beck, and some people saying that he might.
I haven't liked him last year. I told people last year I didn't like him. I still don't like him. He does have a lot of. He does
clean out the whole closet. JR, are you a Raider fan? Let me know, man. Just so I know if this is coming from where is this coming from? Is this coming from a place of like I'm a Raider fan, or is this? It's coming from a place of like I hate the Raiders.
He coming from a place that he want to talk about some movies.
he want to talk about movies.
Like, have y'all seen the new? Y'all seen Weapons?
I gotta watch that Leonardo whatever DiCaprio movie, whatever. I heard it's good.
I heard it's good. I haven't watched it. Yeah, I'm saying yeah.
I haven't seen
I want to
it,
see it in theaters too, but
hell no, Miami Dolphins. Man,
you worse than us, bro. Oh, sorry for you, man.
Man, Mike McDaniel's gonna be out of there. It looks like.
Yeah, so is everybody else.
Exactly.
Yeah, I heard Jalen Waddle
that chemistry, Brock. Oh, hey, that might be something that they might take into consideration.
He does.
It's a possibility. But yeah, man, hey, we'll be back at it next Tuesday, the 50-50 show. But this week, obviously, don't miss Around the Shield this Thursday. Me and Severe, and obviously, we're gonna have some guests. We'll talk about that Chiefs game. We'll talk about what's going on with the Raiders, the latest and greatest. Definitely tune in. We'll be back at it. Severe, any last thoughts before we head out?
Nah, man. Interested to see what we do this next week against the Chiefs offensively. And JR, y'all colors are turquoise and sherbet, bro. You can't talk. You can't talk.
Man, we up out of here, man. Peace.
Just win, baby.
Hello? You play to win the game. You don't play to just play it.